Hello there, fellow filmmakers, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Film, a podcast where we talk about films and stuff. With me again, as same as always, is Luke Shitpage and Daniel Schern.
Hello there.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Hello there. So, today we're doing, this is a big one. I think there's 22 movies to go through or something like
It's
that.
23.
23,
Are
there you go.
I did
Are we
research.
actually going to discuss all of them?
Yes, but not for very long. So,
But also, I've not seen all of them, so some of them won't take as long.
and Luke, if you haven't made notes on all of them, just... Oh,
Is that
was-
a knock?
that was a knock at the door.
Oh,
Delivery.
What do you think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Luke?
I'd say it's quite the achievement of cinema to have such a massively interconnected series of films that have done so well, and with most of them being pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they've definitely made some big technological advancements, with special effects, and
Absolutely.
I think Marvel's sort of been at the forefront of a lot of modern special effects, especially de-aging
Yeah.
stuff, which we'll
Yes.
come to. But
Yes. I mean, the difference the progression, is
yeah,
apparent in the first appearance of the Hulk and the last appearance of the Hulk.
yes, that's very much,
It's just a massive leap.
yeah. I mean, it goes.
Youch.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about it too much, but because
No,
we'll
but
come to that.
It's mad.
Yeah,
But also it's popularized comic books because The Dark Knight was doing it, but not to the same extent and not in the same genre.
true. I think what Marvel did was quite bold in not trying to follow the Dark Knight and dark and gritty,
Yeah.
and basically just going with its own thing. Oh, and
Oh yeah.
it's not muted.
The wonders of family living.
Yeah. We're just gonna wait. So obviously de-aging effects. I'm just gonna ramble. De-aging effects obviously started back with the first time Disney did it, I think, was Tron
Oh God, Tron.
Tron
yes.
Legacy in 2010.
I bought that film and regretted it because I spent my birthday money on it.
I think
And-
it's a good movie.
I didn't enjoy it when I first came out. What I did enjoy was I was then and mostly still am a massive fan of Daft Punk, and their score is excellent for that film.
The soundtrack is amazing.
It's just mwah.
So we also start with Dan. With Dan's favorite Marvel film, is Harvey correct? We'll find out.
yes, he was. It is Iron Man 1, yeah.
The original Iron Man.
Yeah.
Just
Am I
brief.
explaining it? Or
Keep it brief.
I just like how grounded it feels, and when it came out, it felt really different to me. I think it's had the best. It's got the best opener, and I think the Iron Man suit, the original one with like the red and gold, is just the coolest. And I think that Tony Stark is probably the best character.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Controversial.
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's not that controversial, actually.
No, not really.
So yeah,
Not
that's why I like it.
Fair
Briefly.
enough, Daniel.
Fair enough.
Lukey boy.
My number one
Mm-hmm.
is Guardians 2.
Mm.
Ooh.
That's
Because-
not what I expected.
No, well, I really loved the first one. Far and away one of my favourite Marvel films. And then the second expanded on a lot of the characters that I love.
Mm.
Had a similar trend. It's kind of like a second part to the same film. And it was slightly heavier in tone, which I liked as well. So overall, just a really, really solid film with a great soundtrack.
Okay. Well, there you go. My favourite Marvel film is, of course, the best one, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, so did I.
And that's because I think Captain America's he's a good hero, but he's still flawed, you know? His persistent looking for the good in people is often his downfall. I think the action's great. I love the fast-paced sort of Jason Bourne-esque action that they adopted for this film. And I love the espionage-ness of the movie. And the score just backs it up, and it's great. It's good.
Plus solid fight scenes.
Now I'm going to spring the legendary question that you never prepare for. The best independent film question.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Independent film.
Best independent Marvel film.
Oh.
So you got to ignore every other one around it.
Oh, that's easy for me. Guardians.
Yeah. Guardians 1.
Was that?
That is.
Yeah, Guardians 1, because it stands on its own. It's not got any setup in any of the other films. It even sets up a lot of the later stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a solid space kind of science fantasy romp. So
there you go. My best independent is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Fair enough. I think you've got an easier time going for the earlier films.
Yeah, I mean,
independent wise, because they've got less background in other films.
I mean, you could argue any first film in a trilogy, but I just feel like Captain America works a bit more because it's also a period film, and the same way Guardians works because it's more of a science fiction-y romp.
Yeah.
You know, they're set in quite separate environments from the wider universe.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's why they work the best. Dan will probably say the original Iron Man.
No, I am going to say Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hey.
So yeah, I think that's just a great film by itself, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember it just like
I saw it like 6 times at different points. So it's
I think my thing with Guardians 1 is that it relies on people knowing who Thanos is.
Does it?
Well, because he's like the big bad behind the big bad, isn't he?
Well, if you don't know who Thanos is, it doesn't change the story that much, does it? You just have Ronan being an annoying person because he's got the stone.
I guess.
He got it from
I feel like
Thanos.
It's sort of a bit like she's the daughter of Thanos, but then you're like, okay.
Well,
Don't know who that is, but
it's kind of the first film outside of the Avengers series to talk about him. So if you haven't heard of him before, you could be forgiven.
yeah. Okay, I see the argument. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go through our favorite 5, and we're gonna start at number 5 and work our way up to number 1, which we've already said, but oh well. So Daniel, we're just gonna go 4, 5, 3, 2 for Dan, and then we'll go to Luke and then me.
Did you say 4, 5, 3, 2?
Yes. Dan.
Okay. Just quickly, my number 5, Captain America, the First Avenger.
Ooh.
Number 4 is Avengers Endgame.
Mm.
Number 3 is Avengers Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 is Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. That's a good list. I like that.
Yeah. Got a couple of interesting ones.
You're making me question my list now.
No.
We're already doing
It's
it,
too
so
late.
I don't know where to put this.
Luke, now's the time, buddy.
It is. I'm not gonna say what I'm replacing, but I'm gonna replace it.
You cheeky boy.
Sorry. Iron Man 1 has just gone off the list, lads. I apologise.
Oh.
Daniel's crying.
I know.
Luke, what's your list?
Well, number 5, Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Number 3 is Guardians 1.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And number 2 is Infinity War.
Okay. My list from 5 to 1. Okay. I'm reconsidering 5 quite heavily. So
Don't let us influence you. Just go for it.
okay, my 5 is Iron Man 3. My 4 is Thor Ragnarok. My 3 is Endgame. My 2 is Infinity War, and 1 is obviously The Winter Soldier.
Ooh. So all got Ragnarok on there.
Yeah.
Which is surprising
Interesting,
because me and Dan used to rip Ragnarok
Yes,
to pieces.
I have always loved Ragnarok, but you two were very much against it when it first released.
Yes, I was gonna make a T-shirt that had "Bore Ragnarok" written on it.
That's because I stole the saying from Call Me Kevin.
You did. So
But there you go.
okay,
Oh,
let's
dear.
go through our worst from 5 to 1. Daniel.
Right, well, number 5 is Spiderman Homecoming.
Ooh.
Number
Ouch.
4 is Black Panther.
Mm.
Number 5 is The Incredible Hulk.
We've gone back to 5.
Oh, number 3, sorry. Number 3 is Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Number 2 is Thor the Dark World.
Yep.
And my least favourite is Iron Man 2.
Okay.
Ouch.
Luke. Worst.
Right, 5 to 1.
Mm.
We have number 5 was the original Thor.
Mm.
Controversial, perhaps. Number 4, Age of Ultron.
Really?
Yes. I didn't like that one. 3 is Iron Man 2.
Iron Man, of course.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Number 2 is The Incredible Hulk from 2008.
Yep.
And number 1 is Thor the Dark World, because it's bad.
Okay. My list of worst. Number 5 is Black Panther. Dan knows why, because we saw this one together.
Yeah, we did.
4 is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I've not seen it.
3 is Thor the Dark World. 2 is The Incredible Hulk. And the worst Marvel film is Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
Do you know, I had completely forgotten that existed until the moment you mentioned it.
Oh, you're going to add it to your list at number 1? By chance?
No.
No?
It's not bad enough to replace... Well, I don't know, it might shift... Oh, it could shift Thor, the first Thor off the list, actually.
Yeah. So you're going to put Captain Marvel at 5?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Well, that's
I'll
going
put-
to be very confusing for you in the edit, Harvey.
Yeah,
Enjoy. You're going to have to do a lot of
I'll
swapping
I'll
around.
suffer, but you know what? It's worth it. Okay. So now we're going to go through each of the films and talk about things that are good and bad. So I think we should all say one thing that's good, one thing that's bad, and if somebody says what you were going to say, then just don't say it and say someone else. Okay?
It's like a class discussion.
Yeah? Sound good? Good?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, well.
Right then, we're going to start with Phase 1 with the original Iron Man from 2008. Daniel, one thing that worked for you.
I really liked that it had the inclusion of terrorists at the start. Now,
That
just
sounds...
but the reason why is it felt
Elaborate.
it felt gritty and it felt different to any superhero movie that came before and after. And I liked that, and it felt like it had more stakes.
I'm just gonna Google if The Dark Knight came before.
I think it was the same year.
I know it was the same year, but which one came first? Because
Okay,
if you're talking
Oh,
gritty, then
We both know they would have been written at the same time.
All right, but let's just say
But
for
would
Marvel
they?
then. For Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
You know, for Marvel, it was nothing. There was nothing like it, but it still had a sense of.
Iron Man did come first.
There you go. And it was
There we
also
go.
the first. I saw it at cinema when I must have been 7, and it blew me away. Just with AC/DC at the start as well. Just some cool music in there.
Yes. Luke, one
So-
thing that worked for you.
I loved the character arc of Tony Stark. I think taking him from being this kind of up himself, rich weapons dealer to kind of a more grounded, slightly shaken person who wants to do better for the world is really quite endearing. Even if sometimes the romance is not perfect,
Yeah.
I think that the story is great. Mostly.
Okay. One thing that worked for me was Robert Downey Jr. i.e.
Yes.
The casting all round.
Mm.
I think even though Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man isn't really the Iron Man from the comic at all, I think he managed to reinvent the character as his own, and that's good. And
It's been so successful that they've kind of copied
they're sort of
his screen
moving.
character.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think that everyone else in the cast does a pretty good job. I like Obadiah Stane. I think that's what that character was called.
I think it's an underrated villain, in my opinion.
As a person, yes. But I'll get onto that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have to
Daniel,
get a different point.
one thing that didn't work for you.
I see. I think the main terrorist villain, so not Obadiah. I can't remember his name, but his face gets burnt.
Yeah.
He probably could have been used a bit more. See, I really like this film, so I find it hard to find flaws of it. So if I had to pick one, that would be it.
Okay. Luke, one thing that didn't work for you.
See, I wasn't a big fan of the motivations behind. Well, not the motivation behind Stain. His execution of those motivations at the end. Stain, the villain.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
Because he wants to be like, he wants to take over Stark's company, and I can understand murdering Stark, but the rampage doesn't necessarily make sense.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't think worked about this film was just thinking which one I should pick.
Ooh.
I'll go for a filmmakery comment. It's very uninterestingly directed. Like, this is a by the numbers. Like,
Well,
I mean, yeah, you could say that for a lot of the Marvel films.
I suppose you could say that for a lot of Jon Favreau's films, but I just nothing stands out that makes me think like, oh, this is like, you know, a superhero film that also like looks amazing, you know. I don't get that from this movie personally.
Although, I mean, the Iron Man suit's effects were very well done for the time, and they also used a physical model as well. So, you know.
Right then, what worked for Daniel?
What, not Iron Man or Hulk? You think?
For Daniel, I said. What
Oh,
worked?
for the whole film.
Yeah, we're just gonna say one more thing, I guess, and then. We can
Oh,
move
okay,
on.
right. I was expecting you to go on to Hulk there. That's why I got a bit confused.
Yeah.
I think it's just the coolest film. It's just got everything I want in a superhero. It's got great music, and the first Iron Man suit is the best, as I've said. I think the fight's really cool. I think Tony Stark's really cool. When he first goes out on a flight, you know, as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And when he goes to, I can't remember, is it Afghanistan or?
Yes.
He returns to save the village, and that scene was sick as well. It's just a pure fun fest. That's what I'll call it.
I agree.
One thing
So we're doing
that
another
worked for Luke.
positive. All right.
Yes. One more positive and then one more negative, and then we'll move on.
All right. Another positive for this film. I loved the moments where Stark was tinkering with his suit, because it's just really cool to see him struggling to get it right, and all the trial and error he goes through.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
In the later films, it all seems kind of just effortless, but you can see that there's a lot of effort put into getting it there.
Yes. What worked for me, and this is quite a broad statement, but I'd say this is the perfect start to a new universe.
Yeah.
You know, they don't spend too long trying to build something from a singular film, DC. So, you know, I think the post-credit scene was enough. Thoughts?
Sorry, I'm dealing with
post-credit scene was enough.
Silence.
I think I was trying to think about it. It's the Nick Fury scene.
Yeah,
right?
it's just when Nick Fury says like, "This world's bigger than what you know."
No, it's great. I think it was a good setup. I mean, I did, to be honest, when I was watching it as a kid, I never really knew it was setting up anything.
Yeah,
I think that's why I still respect it. But it's not like throwing it in your face that this is part of the franchise.
It's just
because obviously it's the first one.
It's basically just laying the groundworks for the future.
Yeah. I thought that.
Yeah.
That post-credit scene was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And especially for people who knew the character back then, because I didn't read the comics, but I'm sure a lot of people did, and they thought, yes, I'm going to see something now that, you know, will change cinema, pretty much.
It's, well, yeah, they put it in there just in case the film did well, and it absolutely broke the box.
It did.
Box office, so yeah.
One more thing that worked from each of you.
That worked. Another word.
No, it didn't.
I thought we were doing.
I love this movie. Okay. I see the character that plays. Is it Bro? I can't remember his name, but he's like the head of the military. I'm so sorry, because I know he like becomes a big character in the next film.
Oh, Rhodey.
Yeah. Brody, that's it. I was going to say Brody, but anyway.
Brody.
I wish that actor had stayed on. I think he's much better than the one that replaced him.
I will comment on that when we get to Iron Man 2.
Yeah, okay, but I can't think of any more negatives, so
we're
going to
have to think of some positives for that film.
Oh, I've got loads of positives for that movie. Anyway, Luke.
Oh damn! All right. Another negative for the original Iron Man.
Yeah.
I am running out of things, I'm afraid, because I did enjoy that film, even if it wasn't really on my top 10. Well, it was in my top 10, so.
Well, do you want me to hit? Do you want me to hit with another one?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, give me a topic, and I might be able to talk about it.
Pepper Potts.
Oh, all right. Not my favourite character in that film, actually. Right?
No.
And her interactions with Tony were quite awkward at times and a little bit painful.
Yes. I think that's just Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yes, I don't think she's a very good actress or a very good person.
She was all right in that movie 7, but other than that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Gwyneth Paltrow.
No.
Goop can go do one.
What do you mean, Luke? The vagina candle is... that's where it's
at. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to try and find an image of that and somehow not...
Please don't.
Somehow not...
I have an image in my head, and if it's anything close, the viewers don't need that.
No, it just smells like it, I think. It's not a...
What? That's so weird.
What? No, that's weirder.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Have you guys seriously not heard of that?
No.
I've heard of... Well, it doesn't surprise me, because I've seen the rest of the stuff she's made, but...
I'm going to Google
Bruh.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow candle.
You've expanded our horizons today, Daniel.
Gwyneth Paltrow smelling candle called "This Smells Like My Vagina."
Yeah.
On Goop Store.
Oh my god! Can you guess? It's the first search on Gwyneth Paltrow.
It is.
Gwyneth
Paltrow. It's the first thing that comes up.
I can't believe you guys have never heard of this before.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more thing that didn't work about Iron Man for me was the villain. Hear me out. I like Obadiah Stane. I don't know if that's his name. I'm so sorry.
I think it is.
But I don't like, and this starts a big trend in Marvel films where the villain is basically the same as the hero, but just a little bit different. He's just in another. Yeah. He's basically in just a bigger Iron Man suit, and it starts a horrible trend in these movies where it's just basically the perfect counterpart to the hero because it's pretty much the same thing. I can
see what you're saying, but I disagree. But that's your opinion.
I don't disagree with Stane's motivations technically, but his as I said before, the execution it's a bit meh.
Yeah.
He's just a big bad for the sake of a big bad, and I think in some ways that's partially responsible. So it's partially due to the comic book origins, because that's kind of what they did a lot of the time, was have this is bad version of main character.
Okay, let's move on to the Incredible Hulk.
Can we move on again?
The Incredible Hulk. Here we go. The Incredible Hulk from 2008, a sort of spiritual sequel reboot to Hulk from 2003. Technically. One thing that works.
Never saw that.
For well, that's because what's his face, Moustache Man? What's he called?
What, the guy who played Hulk in
later on in the films as well.
Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes, him. Yeah, he comes up in like Civil War.
Same actor in the first Hulk movie. In Hulk 2003.
Well, is that technically part of the MCU then?
No, but same actor. Here we go. Incredible Hulk. One thing that worked for Daniel.
Well, the reason why it was on my list of least favourites is because it was so forgettable, and when I watched it, I hated it.
Yeah, we're looking for positives.
It's quite. Dan. I know. I like Edward Norton.
Okay, is that your point?
I think so. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just can't.
Luke,
I'm gonna struggle.
One positive for the Incredible Hulk. Here we go. Other than Ed Norton.
Dan, help me. The name of the female love interest.
Oh.
She plays an elf in Lord of the Rings.
She's in Ant-Man.
No, that's a different elf.
Liv Tyler.
Thank you.
What's her name? What's her name in the movie?
I
can't remember, and that's probably part of the problem. But she was all right at parts.
Yeah.
That's my point over.
Okay, wow. Do you want me to just throw in like 3 good points?
I think you should, because I have seen that film, but I really can't remember it that well because it wasn't good.
I've seen it and I did not like it.
Okay, I'll do 4 things that worked really quick. The swift opening credits and recap of the origin story. I'm glad we didn't need to see their origin again. I think the Hulk appearance is better than Hulk 2003. That's a positive.
Yeah.
I like Tim.
Yeah,
I like Tim Roth. I like Tim Roth. He's a good villain. Good actor.
Good actor. I don't know about good villain.
Well, we're struggling here, okay? And the action in that film is better compared to Hulk 2003.
Yeah.
When you compare
points.
When you compare this movie to Hulk 2003, it's a lot easier to look for positives. Should we go?
You make a good point.
Should we go through some negatives? Daniel?
Yeah, this film is really boring. I just don't like the plot really. There's like that weird. It's like I can't even remember what it's called. Like, but it's like a mutation because it's kind of like that. I'm really struggling to remember. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a guy that gets some stuff like spilt in his and a cut in his head, and his head starts like mushing about. Is that what you want about?
No, the guy the you know the what you know at
Tim
the
Roth.
end where it might be Tim Roth's character. He turns into like a monster.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what- yeah.
Abomination.
Abomination. That's the
Abomination.
word I was looking for. I can't really. That's the thing that's bad about this film. You can't remember anything about it because it's just not memorable, and people, don't really remember it's an MCU film.
Yeah, I mean,
Marvel probably don't mind.
It doesn't feel like an MCU movie.
No, it's like tonally so different as well.
Well, I think that's mainly because it's a Universal film.
Exactly.
Yes.
Where the first, every other Marvel film until Avengers 1 is Paramount, I think.
I have
I
no
think
idea.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
I think
Paramount.
so.
So, Dan, you hate this movie? Yeah?
I don't like it, no.
Okay. Luke, any negatives?
Which one? I will go for the easy shot of the CG is a bit crap. And partially because of the time, and partially because I don't know what they were designing it as. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, and it's most of the film.
I think
Hulk.
I don't know if it's the CG or the design.
Yeah, the design of the Hulk
Because
it doesn't look right. It's a little bit disgusting.
Very veiny, and you can see all the tones in his muscles.
And
that's
they
not
went
normal.
for like just slightly transparent skin in places and
Yeah.
like over musculature, and his face doesn't look quite right. I mean, I'll give you the face because it was much harder back then, but
I would agree. One of my negatives is that it doesn't look anything like Ed Norton.
no,
Maybe that's a good thing for him, though. I mean,
give you that.
I also had Ed Norton down as a negative.
well, maybe in this film.
There's something, I don't know. I'm sure he's a good actor, but in this movie, like, it's a very hand-in performance, just like hamming it up. Just need to get it done, get the paycheck.
Yeah, mate, I could see that. I mean, like, he didn't come back, so...
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's just, it's uninteresting. It's boring.
sucks.
It's boring.
Can we move on?
Yeah. Well, we're not moving on to anything much better. Iron Man 2, 2010.
Ouch.
Oh, no.
Daniel, what worked for you? Do you want to just list off?
No.
Just list off the things that worked.
Robert Downey Jr. is always good.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give it that.
That's a valid.
And the whip that the bad guy uses is pretty cool.
Yes.
Well.
And for me,
scraping the
that's
barrel.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, is it my turn then?
Yep.
I actually didn't mind the bit at the beginning where Tony has a bit of a mental breakdown. That is that film, right? I'm not getting that
Bit at
confused.
the beginning.
He's like not coping well. He goes out to a bar or something, and then he kind of stumbles back into a suit. Am I confusing that with 3?
Is that where he throws a party? No, you're thinking of 3.
I'm thinking of 3. See, this is the problem. Sorry.
Yeah.
I apologise.
So your point is that this movie's forgettable.
This was supposed to be positive, not a negative.
Well-
So I will retract that. And the fight scenes are pretty good in places.
Yes.
That is a scrape.
Okay. How about Harvey lists off some good things?
Yeah.
The suitcase armor. is pretty sick.
Yes,
And that
actually.
and the whole race car scene, I like. You know where
yeah, I know what you mean.
where he comes on and he fucking whips that car in half, and it looks great.
Yeah, that's a cool shot. I just don't agree with the suitcase thing.
I think it's cool. I mean, it makes no sense, but it's cool. I like Whiplash, and I like Mickey Rourke.
He hated playing that character, didn't he?
Yes, but you know, I think the rule of cool for that character, until he puts like armor on, I think he looks better just with the whips. This is also the movie where Black Widow or Natasha Romanoff is first introduced, and I think that's a positive.
Yeah.
I
forgot about that.
I like Justin Hammer.
I don't.
I think
I think
Sam
shines.
Rockwell is it's not a great character, but I think he's funny, and Sam Rockwell is a good actor. So positives. And I like art character poisoning. That's what I've written on my notes. So I'm
Well, Can I say things that I don't like about this film?
yeah, go for it.
In my opinion, the armor sucks. Compared to the first film, it's night and day, which is better. They've ruined the suit in this film. I'm sorry if you like it, but for me, it's terrible.
What the
reason-
the suitcase armor?
Just all the armors in this film.
No, suitcase armor.
just-
Cool.
it's just-
Come on.
It's a downgrade from the first. The first armor looks amazing. This is like the B-Tech version.
But the suitcase.
I don't care.
You just like the CG from that scene, don't you?
It's very
The
impressive.
actual suit from the suitcase looks awful.
No, it doesn't.
In my opinion,
you were
I
just
think it looks alright.
heavily biased to the first Iron Man.
I hate
anyway.
how the what's it called? The little arc reactor in his chest.
Yeah.
On the suit is a triangle.
That's just the way forward,
I
I'm
hate it.
afraid.
Why? Because
That's
it just
an oddly
looks bad.
specific
It
gripe
looks
to have,
bad.
and it's the same. It's included on all the others.
I know, and that's what annoys me because it looks terrible. The first suit, the circle looked really cool.
He goes back to a circle.
I think he does in later films. Yeah.
He does for a while,
But-
and then he goes back to a sort of triangle. Anyway,
Yeah, and I just think the reason why it's my least favorite is because it was such a disappointment. It was I just didn't. When I was watching it just didn't feel the same. It didn't hit right like the first film. And because of it was such a disappointment. That's why it's my least favorite Marvel film.
fair enough.
Yeah,
The whiplash from really cool to mediocre.
yeah.
Luke, what didn't work for you?
Well, I think the villains are a bit trash. Have we already discussed the trashness of the villains? I apologise.
Yeah, you
we
can
have-
just spit some.
Yeah.
Spit some.
No, I have to agree with Luke there.
I think their motivations are just whack.
I agree.
that's a technical term.
I put despite liking Whiplash, his motivations are
Yeah.
So
I don't think it makes sense. I also, tangentially, I think Stark is treated unfairly well and then unfairly poorly by the government. It is a bit weird. Because what I remember from that film is, first off, he gets away by saying, "Don't worry about my technology. Nobody else can make it, so it's fine. I'm not a threat to you.
and then
I can make
and then
weapons."
someone just
but-
makes it.
Yeah, and then they blame him. Like, it's somehow his fault. So first of all, he should be regulated as a weapons manufacturer, and second of all, it wasn't his fault when somebody else made it in the first place.
Yes, this is
So, like, bruh.
okay.
but-
Yeah, right. What I think was bad is that this story is inconsequential. I just feel like nothing.
Yeah.
I just feel like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Skippable.
Yeah, it's very skippable.
I think substituting the alcoholic story from the comics for arc reactor poisoning was a mistake.
I'm not familiar with the alcoholic story from the comics, so
Tony
but
Stark was briefly an alcoholic, and it sort of took its toll on him. And I think that would have been more interesting, but probably too dark for this happy-go-lucky Marvel movie. So,
Yeah.
well, I can read. Do you want me to read directly from my notes? Pepper fucking Potts is annoying.
Yeah, more so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't mind her in the first film, but
and then I put some of the comedy is poo poo.
yeah.
So
I didn't really hit with me as much. Again, just another downgrade from the first film.
Summarize Iron Man 2 is pee pee poo poo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about Thor from 2011. What worked and what didn't? Daniel, what worked?
I have not seen this film.
Oh, well then, Luke.
I've seen the other two, but not this.
It's just me and you.
Wow.
What worked, Luke? What worked?
What worked? Well, I liked the casting choice of Thor and
Yes.
Loki. I think they both are excellent fits for their characters.
My note says Chris Hemsworth, he is Thor, / the whole cast is good.
I mean, actually, yes, the casting choice for the most part, there was an exception I'll talk about later, is pretty good. Pretty good.
I think the origin story is swiftly dealt with and just sort of brushed away, and I like that. You know, they just basically explain it in the first sort of 10 minutes, and then it just carries on, and it's good.
Yeah.
I also think that the world building in this movie is very good, establishing a lot of, you know, the 9 realms and all that stuff.
I'd like to even though I haven't seen this film, what I've noticed apart from the first film is like these are just mainly setup films, and they're not like when we get further on into Marvel, they get more, you know, flamboyant and more you can talk about them more really. Whereas these ones, I think they've been played a lot more safe, and they're a lot less memorable.
I agree.
So I think it's harder to talk about them. I think everything after the first Avengers, you know, that's when they really found their footing.
Yeah.
And they knew exactly what they were doing. Whereas these films, they were just almost like tests.
Yeah,
you know
just
I mean?
like
see how. So that's why they're kind of hard. Well, they're like these films aren't great, but they're not like awful. So you can't really say too much about them apart from they're just shit. Or apart from Iron Man 1, you know, they're just there. And
I think if the first Avengers movie was really bad or like sort of people like they're just nothing would have come of this. I don't think
because if these films, like apart from Iron Man 1 obviously, but if these two films came out now, like Thor, Iron Man 2, I guess Incredible Hulk, people would be raging.
They wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah.
No, this is true.
Are we going to talk about some things that didn't work for Thor?
Yeah, Dan.
I have a lot of things. Dan hasn't seen this movie.
Dan
so.
has not seen it.
I've not seen Thor.
He has not seen the movie.
Okay, so I'll start then, and if we're going off the order. I didn't like Natalie Portman.
I agree. I feel
she's not a good acting.
I feel zero compassion for her character. She makes me feel nothing apart from like a slight hatred, you know.
Respectfully, I don't know if Natalie Portman can act as well as is required for a film like that.
She can, but not in this role.
Luke,
No.
have you not seen
Hello.
Attack of the Clones?
People can
yes.
watch a podcast about that if they want to
They
know my
can.
opinion on
They
Attack of the
can.
Clones.
One of my what didn't work is why his eyebrows dyed blonde.
I have some pictures of that, and I'm like, I'm glad. I'm glad he still.
It's dead strange.
Yeah.
Because after this film, they aren't blonde. They're like brown, and I'm happy. But why dye the eyebrows blonde too? You know?
Yeah.
It's just it's one of these strange decisions that director Kenneth Branagh decided to do. Kenneth Branagh is an interesting man. There's a lot of Dutch angles in this movie.
There are.
Like
it's true.
like too many. Like really so many. And as a filmmakery person, that is extremely distracting.
Yeah, they don't even use them for proper cinematic effect. They're
No.
just everywhere.
My final
Can I-
2 points were they didn't lean on the comedy enough, and it's quite boring.
Can I ask you two a question?
Yes.
As a person,
No,
all right then.
you can.
I'm
Yes.
joking. No, as a person who's not seen this film, would
Mm.
you two recommend me? Would you recommend it to me? Okay.
No.
I will
Actually-
never watch it then.
Actually, if you're interested in dyed eyebrows and a film with loads of Dutch angles, then go for it.
I think not.
Alternatively, if you want to simply know more about the history of Thor, then go for it.
Yes.
But like,
I'm sure I will one day, but it never interested me. So,
I'm sure we can watch it at the cinema or something.
yeah.
Let's move on to Captain America: The First Avenger. Dan, have you seen this one?
I have. It's on my top 5.
That's good. Oh yes. This movie came out in 2011. Daniel, what worked and stuff?
I love that this film is set in World War II. And it's just
Yes.
it's a really unique setting for a superhero
I
film.
put a solid period piece.
Yeah. And I like the aesthetic about it, and
Yes, this movie
just like the whole vibe
looks-
about it. Yeah.
looks like just completely original compared to all the others, and that's good.
Yeah. Like, well, to any superhero film, like Iron Man, it was original, and like nothing was really like it from Marvel. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe there was a DC. I'm not a massive fan of DC, so I don't know.
Wow.
But probably not.
No.
But it has got problems. But I just that's why I really like it. I love the 1940s vibe going on there. So
Yes. Luke.
I agree with your analysis of the film. I think it's very good. I think Captain America's transformation is great. I think his character is excellent. I think actually Captain America's character changes the least out of all of them over all the films.
I agree, but I feel like it works for him.
Yes, I think he's already
He's been pure from
good
the
enough
start,
as a
you know?
person.
I
Yeah.
think his flaw comes from his over willingness to see the good in people.
And, self-sacrifice.
Yeah,
So-
I put casting. Chris Evans is a perfect Captain America,
yeah,
and I think Hugo Weaving is an underrated villain.
I agree. I'm sad he
And
didn't come back for
it's-
Infinity War.
Yeah, he was just a weird CG looking ghost man. So you know, everyone's good in that movie. I think Peggy Carter's, really good casting there, and Tommy Lee Jones. I don't, whatever he was doing in that movie, it was just good fun. I also put that the ending twist is good,
Yeah,
and the
Yeah.
and the Avengers teaser, which is
it was a great setup for the Avengers film coming up.
Did any of you see this movie in theatre?
I didn't know.
Well, after the the scene where he wakes up in modern times, they played the first ever trailer for the Avengers, and that was exciting.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen that at cinemas now, but
It's interesting.
yeah.
I think I did see it in cinemas, actually.
What didn't work? Come on, gang. What didn't work?
Right. I think I could be wrong, but there was a part in the film where I think Captain America and Bucky and his like band of army soldiers were like going around, like they were going around Europe, obviously winning the war. But I think it was a bit time lapsey, if I remember.
You mean like a montage?
A montage, yeah.
Yeah, I put that this film is very montagey.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's its main problem, really.
Yeah, I think I'd rather.
But I enjoy it overall.
I think I'd rather have seen, one like taking on a Nazi base and then montages. Just
yeah. Because like the fight with Hydra at the end is cool, but I would have liked to have seen him fight, like in it being a battle with actual Nazis that didn't have space guns or whatever. Yeah.
Luke, one thing that didn't work for you.
A lot of the side characters are quite forgettable.
Yeah,
I don't know the names of any of the people that Captain America went around with, other than Peggy and
Bucky.
Peggy and Bucky, thank you. Because obviously Bucky appears in several other things, and Peggy actually gets her own series.
Yeah, I put not much character development for Bucky and Friends.
Yes. They just are there.
I said that the sacrifice doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's just because, it was
right.
plot for the whole franchise, wasn't it?
Hear me out. You point that thing down to the ground and it's going to smash into the ground anyway. It's not like it can just, steer upwards. So you just point it down and just jump out when you're above water and you're all good.
Yeah, you could do that. But also they need Captain America to somehow travel, 70 years into the future without him aging. So, freezing.
It's a comic book issue. That's,
you need that to help the twist as well at the end. Yeah. I mean, couldn't if he
the twist redeems that, but it's still a thing.
It's a bit weird.
I said that some of the CGI hasn't aged amazingly, but most of it has.
Yeah, I think
I'm thinking just some of the action moments. There's a bit of jank here and there.
Yeah.
But, young Chris, skinny Chris Evans, that's, very impressive CG.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
very well done.
This movie, summarized, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like this movie.
Yeah.
I really like it, actually.
Very solid.
It's a solid movie.
What are you going to say, Dan, before we cut you off?
No, I was saying I really like the film. That's it.
Right, gang. We're going to move on to Marvel's The Avengers / Avengers Assemble, if you're English. British, sorry. And this movie...
Are any of us not?
And this movie came out in 2012. What worked and what didn't? Daniel.
Well, the big fight at the end in New York was awesome.
Yes.
It was, it was just, and that famous shot, like coming into all the heroes and they do a circle around them and the theme plays, perfection.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
I don't think, in my opinion, like with a shot in all the Avengers films, with all the Avengers in them, that a shot like that hasn't, surpassed that one. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Even the one in Endgame with like all of them running towards Thanos' army, I think that's still the best shot, and it's iconic as well.
Yeah. Luke.
Yeah.
One thing that worked for you.
Worked for me.
The original Avengers.
I liked the chemistry of the main cast. I thought it was actually really good.
Yes, I would boil that down to Joss Whedon and good writing, and just a good understanding of the universe. And that's because Joss Whedon is, he's a nerd, isn't he? So
Nerd at heart.
You guess
See,
it.
it's a fact. Nerds make good films.
yes. One thing that I said is that New Hulk is better.
Yes. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's better, and the CG is better, and Hulk looks like Mark Ruffalo. And that's just... That's
I really
good.
like that scene in the film where he goes, that's the thing, I'm always angry, and then just instantly changes into the Hulk. I thought, yeah.
No,
not for you?
No.
Really?
It doesn't make sense. It makes
Why
sense.
not?
It makes sense in that moment, but as a wider Hulk issue, doesn't make any sense.
Okay. That's fine.
Surely-
You're allowed to have your opinion.
Surely he just needs to slap himself a couple times. I know it wouldn't have been as cool, but
Well, as you say, Harvey, for me, the rule of cool prevails.
oh, there we go, Daniel.
Yeah. I'm learning.
Something else that's good about this movie is the introduction to Thanos.
Yeah, I suppose, but not really.
It's a good last shot,
Yeah, it sets it up.
It's
Even
like
CG's
ooh, the big bad. I like it.
Yeah.
I also said that the visual effects are good and the music is good and the stakes are palpable. There's a lot that that's riding on the back of this movie.
Yeah, the world's going to be destroyed.
True.
If they don't.
Aliens are invading, bro. Everything's gonna go down.
Yeah, man. But what
And the Battle of New York.
What didn't work?
Sorry.
No, yeah. What didn't work? Daniel, what didn't work about the first Avengers movie for you?
Ooh. I think... this is another film. It's not in my top 5, but I still really like it, so it's hard to find flaws.
I've got 5 lined up. I'm ready.
Ooh. Come back to me. I need to think a bit more.
Luke.
I would say that Hawkeye just does nothing for most of the film. I think.
Yeah. I mean, what? The same with Black Widow, really. Why are they Avengers?
He spends most of his time mind controlled in that film. Actually,
yeah. That's
just
yeah.
It's the problem with putting unpowered characters into superhero teams, and I get why they do it. It's to put somebody in there who's supposed to be relatable.
Yeah.
More relatable.
Admittedly, when he is mind controlled, he does kick ass. And he really fucks things up, But as soon as he's not mind controlled, he's just sort of
Yeah.
Anything else, Luke?
That I didn't like. Was that the film where they take a detour out to go to Clint's house for a while?
No.
No.
No. Okay. Well.
I can see you've already got some stuff lined up for Age of Ultron.
Yes. Well. Oh yes. Sorry, that's my bad.
I have thought of
I
something
can't remember any
now.
of my other things.
Okay, Daniel.
I think it's really dumb when Loki is captured in that glass container on the main Avengers ship. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. And his staff is also on the ship as well.
Just a fucking helicarrier.
Oh, the Helicarrier. Yes.
I think that's quite dumb because they know how powerful he
It's all
is.
part of the plan.
But I just,
I'll
yeah,
give you
I think
that.
that is a bit dumb.
Okay.
Like, but it's
Yeah.
obviously for plot.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's some things that I don't think worked for Avengers. I think this movie is visually boring. Just grey.
Yeah.
Grey, boring. Film.
Yeah,
It's filmed like a
Mm.
sitcom, and I don't. Yeah, it's boring. Blue beam into
Yeah.
space. This is the first movie that did a blue beam into the
That's-
sky,
Yeah.
and it started a horrible trend. And it's not necessarily a flaw for the movie, but it's a repercussion of the success of this movie, and therefore bad. Why is Hulk always angry?
Because
They
you know, you
just,
can control it now.
but anyway,
But later on, he does. But
Yeah,
in this
well,
movie, Tony Stark should have uncovered Hydra when he hacked the helicarrier.
yeah, maybe.
uh,
I suppose.
probably.
Is that?
Well, surely. Yeah,
You talk about
that's more of a logic thing. Like how could Shield actually be Hydra and Tony not find that out by hacking into the Shield files? You know?
I mean, it's not really a thing you think about when you're watching it. It's just
No.
something afterwards. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that could be seen as a problem. You know, I'll give
And
that to you. Yeah.
I think Loki is kind of
Yeah, he's an alright villain, but there are better.
Well, at this point, he's a bit run of the mill.
Well, yeah, it's
Whereas
sort
when
of
he gets,
like
yeah,
you know, he was already the villain in Thor,
yeah,
the first Thor, and you know, like 2 movies later, here he is again. Summarize the first Avengers film. It's pretty good.
I'd say it's a good. It's a turning point. It's the turning point.
I think it's my least favorite Avengers film.
Don't know about that.
Yeah,
I think Age of Ultron is better. And there's a lot of filmmakery reasons behind that.
I think they both have stuff that they both lack and don't have, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that when we get to Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving on to Phase 2.
Ooh.
We've got Iron Man 3 from 2013. Daniel, do you want to start us off?
Because I loved Iron Man 1. I saw it at the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. I thought it was okay. It's an improvement of Iron Man 2.
Yes.
One controversial thing I'll say what I like. Because I like the Mandarin twist. Now, I know that was going to be controversial too.
Daniel.
Believe it or not, Dan, I actually agree with you, and now Hubby's going to hate me for that.
You too. You swine.
I know.
You
I'm sorry. We're the
swines.
scum of the earth. Apologies.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Luke,
Yeah.
have you got any more points that are incorrect?
that I liked about
Yes.
Iron Man 3.
Yes. Iron Man.
Iron Man. Yeah, I liked Tony having all of his suits kind of come to his aid at the end.
Yeah.
I thought that
I
was
agree
an
with that.
exceptional set piece and a great just kind of
Yeah,
scene overall.
I feel like I wanted to see the suits more. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy can build so many suits, sure, but like, what's the difference? What can one do better? I know there's like a big strong one and stuff, but that's pretty much like
There wasn't a lot of
that's
variation.
the only unique one, you know. What's special?
You know what I'm gonna say to you, Harvey?
What?
Read the comics.
No. Reading is for bitches. We watch movies here.
But none of those suits are as good as the first Iron Man suit in red and gold.
Fair enough, Daniel.
Yep, you have a fixation with that suit.
You do.
That suit is awesome.
I think that this movie works for 4 reasons. I like that it focuses on Tony outside of the armor.
Yeah.
A great deal of this movie is him just being Tony Stark, and I think that's good. I like the Avengers PTSD subplot, although it doesn't really go anywhere. I think it's just interesting, just to see that he is actually a human and he, isn't just fine. I think that the time that Ben Kingsley spent being the real Mandarin before the twist was all very good stuff.
I don't mind it.
You feel me?
I thought it was alright.
I think...
I mean, I get it. I like both sides, but I get you.
And I like the clean slate protocol.
Yes, I like that too.
Because most people were upset that in the next Avengers movie he just has armor again. But I don't think the clean slate protocol is to do with not being Iron Man anymore. I think it's more to do with just like a fresh start.
Well, see, that's a good segue because that was my main issue with the film. And I think it's mostly down to when I saw it and then Ultron came out. It's like, oh, I thought Tony gave this up. And at the time, I was like, oh, is this like it? Is this like the last film he's going to be in? I found it confusing at the time.
Yeah. I mean,
I never really like, and now it's just like, it's a bit weird, like, what's the point? But
the character arc makes sense. Like he pretty much created all his own villains up to this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't stop there, but that's,
Yeah, he creates another one. But, like, it's just like, if you watched the 3 Iron Man films as just individual, apart, take them away from the MCU, like, you could say, oh, that's a finality to it. But as in the MCU as a whole, the ending doesn't really make sense to me. That's my issue with the film.
I see it. I see it more as an open-ended thing. But what didn't work about Iron Man 3?
You have to pass
on. We're going in order again.
Well, I said mine prematurely.
Okay.
So
Potts, Pepper Potts
again.
Again,
running
I'm
thing.
sorry.
3 strikes.
Don't enjoy her.
She's also an issue for me in this movie.
Yes.
In this movie, weirdly, a lot more than the others, I think. It's just annoying.
There was a bit more emphasis on her, wasn't there? Because she
was. Yeah. She was a bigger. No, did she?
Yeah, and she was she was connected to the villain as well, played by Guy Pearce.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
She was a bigger part. The romance was kind of a larger part of the film as well. And it just bad. No, don't like it. And what else was I going to say? I've forgotten my own point.
Well, I'll just slip on him. I think inviting a villain to your house is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like, just don't give the main baddie your address. Also, is it not public knowledge where he lives? I just feel like people would know, but maybe that's just my ignorance.
I feel like if you were a terrorist organization, it wouldn't be the most difficult thing in the world to find out.
Especially, he lives in like a big fucking house hanging off a cliff. Like, you're not gonna miss it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a bit dumb.
It's dumb. I think the Mandarin twist is dumb. Dumb, dummy, dumb, dumb. Bad, terrible, dumb.
I think it's fine.
I think that...
I don't mind it.
I think
I don't mind
Aldrich Killian is boring.
Well,
And I hate
You
fire
know-
people.
I mean, I won't lie. I would like a better villain. I just didn't mind the twist. I do think that the villain behind the villain could have been better.
Yes.
I'll give you that.
I don't understand why all the fire people were helping Aldrich Killian. Like, yeah, he grew their limbs back and shit, but like, why were they helping him?
Yeah.
You know?
plot.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's it's just
And
dumb thing.
the final issue is Pepper Potts.
I have a further issue.
Mm-hmm. Is it Pepper Potts? Which
Child
one's-
acting.
I
Oh, that kid.
I don't think you did a good job, Luke.
I don't like
Luke,
child acting, as I've said before. I'm sorry, I'm biased.
I think Luke just hates children at this point.
No, I don't hate children. I just don't
Did it?
approve of their use in films most of the time.
Did it? Was he the one that returned in Endgame?
Yes.
Or am I thinking?
Yeah,
okay.
he
Alright.
did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's summarize Iron Man 3. It's
Average.
it's an underwhelming end to a trilogy, but I think it's good fun.
It's better than 2, but
It's
nowhere
better-
near as
it's-
good as 1.
It's better than 2. Let's move on to everyone's favorite Marvel film, Thor: The Dark World from 2013.
Can we move on?
Do you want me to just go through some points and then we can move on?
It's bad.
I don't have any positives really.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
It's
list of
boring.
positives.
So you just
are-
say your points.
My list of positives are as such: Dark elves are cool? Question mark. The battle over the Nine Realms was okay. Christopher Eccleston is good.
As Doctor Who.
Yes. Loki's final deception is good. Where he pretends to be...
Yeah.
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 And
Alright, yeah, maybe. I thought it was a bit cheap,
I
but
like the introduction to another Infinity Stone. Yay.
I
Some
I
negative
just don't
stuff?
like.
Negative?
I was when I watched this film, I was extremely bored, and I don't remember taking any of it in apart from when is it going to end.
I concur.
Oh,
so-
the credits, the end credit sequence is cool.
I don't remember it.
It looks like
I
it's
didn't
like
watch it.
it looks like paintings and stuff.
Technically, this is the worst film, but the only reason Iron Man 2 is higher on my list is because it disrespects the first Iron Man.
I don't
So-
think this is the worst, obviously. Because obviously I had Incredible Hulk above this.
Yeah.
I think this movie is definitely more watchable than Incredible Hulk.
If I had the choice, I just wouldn't watch either.
No, but you have to watch. You gotta watch one, Dan. You see, that's the thing.
Mhm.
And the choices.
I would toss a coin, and
choice-
the
Yeah.
result would be up the chance.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's bad about this movie? It's boring.
It really is.
The Ninth Doctor is underused.
Yes.
Yes.
I-
You know who it has in it that I don't like? The love interest. Woo.
Natalie Portman is a pee pee poo poo. And my last bad point was just in all caps boring movie. So
Well, that about sums up Thor
Sums up.
Dark World.
Yeah.
let's move on to
Did
a
not
better
enjoy.
movie. Captain America: The Winter
Thankfully
Soldier. Captain America: The Winter
Woo.
Soldier
Yes.
2014.
Yes.
What worked, Daniel?
It's alright. It's alright.
This has possibly the best action.
Yes, Queen.
And I like there's some iconic fights in here, like the elevator fight.
Yeah.
I actually
definitely-
remember there was a teaser for that fight when I watched Iron Man 3, I think. So I saw that early in cinemas. And then there's that cool scene where he's like, I think it's him and Bucky fighting, and like it's in the street, and they're like,
And with the knife.
It's the knife.
with a knife
fight.
getting stuck. Yeah.
And he like
That's
Some of the
sick.
best
he's like flipping the
choreographed
knife
action
about
by
and
far.
shit. Oh, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And like that would be my number 6 film. I just think it's not quite as unique, but I still think it's very good for a Marvel film.
Luke, positives.
Well, we've already talked about the action.
You can
it's-
reiterate a point if you want.
Is good. Really well choreographed.
good.
I think it has a bit more weight than some other action. I mean, I know a lot of the action has thematic weight, but this actually felt impactful on a kind of close-up scale, which you don't get in a lot of the other action.
Yeah.
Which is good, and it really showed off our boy Cap's fighting ability a bit more, I think.
Yeah,
And also, it gave him
he
a
can kick
really
ass.
good antagonist.
Yes.
'Cause he's like his opposite. He's a mirror
Yeah.
with a cool arm.
Cool arm.
Yeah,
That's point number 6. Cool arm.
cool arm.
What I like about this movie, I think the all action sequences are awesome and fast paced and cool and just like gritty, you know,
Yeah.
Gritty.
like the nitty gritty.
That's true.
Getting close up. You know, Bucky's flipping that knife about. I'm like crying with excitement. It's just good stuff. I think the Hydra twist is pretty good.
Yeah.
and
I
I
agree with
think
that.
the Bucky reveal, if you didn't know from the comics already, is good. I love the espionage, you know, it's like sneaking about aspect of this movie. And the music is great. I think
Yeah,
Henry
I
Jackman
agree
did
with that.
did a good job, because you get like a strong espionage feeling from the music, and it makes you feel very uncertain. And I think the villain's great. You know, you got
Yeah.
Bucky, and then you've got I forget his name. His name's not important.
Glasses man.
Glasses, man. That's it. That is it.
What? Who's Glasses Man?
Am I thinking of a different person? Well, he's part of it at least.
You're thinking of Zemo, aren't you?
No.
Glasses Man.
Okay, maybe I'm not. Okay, ignore me.
Are you thinking of
I've said
the
something.
man who's a computer?
No.
Who the fuck is Glasses? Anyway,
Never mind. I don't know his name.
and yeah, it's just a good movie. Black Widow's good, and so is Falcon.
That's the film that introduced him, right?
Yeah, so it's just a good movie. What didn't work?
It's hard to say, but for me, a reason why I prefer the first Captain America a little bit more, I just like the setting more, and so I think if I had to put a negative on this film, it would just be it's not as unique as the first, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Luke?
Yeah. While I like the tone, I will say that it dips quite heavily into full-on action films sometimes, with a little bit of kind of ridiculousness. This is me talking about Captain America throwing his shield at the Quinjet as he's trying to jump out of the shield base. I think that's a little bit over the top. But,
But it's cool.
it is cool. I'll give you that. It's cool as hell. But
I think the main thing I don't like about this movie, and it's an issue with most Marvel films, is that dead people never stay dead. I think this is the first. No, it's the second time. No, I mean it happens pretty much all of them. But like the first noticeable times, like Pepper when she fake died but then didn't die, and then in this one it's Nick Fury dies and then isn't dead. And I just like people need to die, otherwise I just feel like everyone's safe all the time. You know?
Yeah, like in the Vision's back, isn't he? In the TV show.
Maybe.
Like, I wonder why.
We'll see.
I wonder why that was a thing.
Hopefully they'll have thought that through well enough because they've made a whole TV show about it.
Yeah, I mean, after this we can fucking talk about it. And I think a lot of people died in that movie, and just a lot of people, you know, a lot of people died, definitely.
They did,
and they sort of gloss over that a bit. So
it never happened. As far as the larger MCU, they're just like, nope, sorry, goodbye.
But other than that, I just think like as a pure action, like a superhero that I can get behind because he's not stupidly overpowered. I just, you know, it's a great movie. If I had to watch any Marvel film, this is the one I put on. So
I can't argue with that. It's a great film.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Overall, just a great movie.
It's one of the best.
Moving on to...
It's like at least a 3 out of 10.
Wow. I'm going to talk some shit about this one, Luke. Guardians of the Galaxy 2014.
I am joking.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. What worked? Daniel.
It's probably one of the funniest Marvel films. The humour works.
Yes.
I think the casting is brilliant.
My fifth point is good comedy. My second point is great cast.
And again, with most of my favourite films, the setting was extremely unique for a superhero film because, you know, not seen a superhero film set in, you know, the depths of space. I know you had Asgard, but at the time, Thor the Dark World was
what about Green Lantern?
No.
We don't count Green Lantern.
Okay. My number one point was that this is an original story within the MCU. It's something else, something different.
Yeah.
It took a comic, a set of comic book characters that nobody really knew and weren't the most popular, and reimagined them in just a fantastic way.
Yeah, I mean, it did something for Marvel, which is probably quite dangerous, and it basically taught them that, like, they can take any character and make millions of dollars. You know, I don't know if there's a good thing or, like, a dangerous thing, but yeah. I think that the soundtrack is very nice.
Yeah,
some
both films,
bops,
I would say.
Some good bops.
I think it's just excellently scored.
Yes, I just think it's a good movie.
Very well synced with the music as well.
Good movie.
What do you think about the cinematography?
The cinematography is... I'm glad they just let James Gunn do his own thing. You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't strike me as a visually boring movie. It strikes me as exactly what James Gunn wanted. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But what's bad?
What is bad?
Ronan is a boring villain, man.
He is boring. I'll admit he's very two-dimensional, not very well fleshed out. I think the rest of the story kind of makes up for that. Because you're not really focused on Ronan. I think it's kind of intentional. But I suppose they could have done a better villain.
I'd have to agree with that. That's my main negative.
I think part of me finds this movie a tad sluggish at times. I mean, it's obviously like it's still a great movie and everything, but from my memory, I remember I just remember it feeling a bit slow. You probably disagree, but
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think the pacing was bad.
Not for me.
And I also said that it started some annoying trends within cinema.
Such as?
Making your soundtrack just loads of popular 80s songs.
Yeah. I think if you're going to do a soundtrack, it needs to be thematically appropriate.
Yeah. Looking at you, Suicide Squad.
I think it works for the Guardians film.
It works in this movie for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of films, even like outside the MCU, took influence in this film as well.
Oh yeah, I mean
Like
they did
comedy,
the typical cinema thing, which is like, why did this movie make so much money? Oh, of course, it must be for the soundtrack. You know, it was the same with Avatar.
Mm.
Like, why does this movie make so much money? Oh, it's obviously because of the 3D. Let's just slap it on every movie.
Yeah.
But no, anyway. There's not much bad about this movie.
I think if the casting wasn't so good and it wasn't so well written, it could have just been a massive flop. I think the comedy, if it wasn't timed as well as it was, it could have been cringy.
Oh, and I love that this was Dave Bautista's first movie and it gave him a career because I just love that man.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
It's such a good movie. Good movie.
Another good movie. 2014, a good
2014 is a good year.
Mm.
I actually looked up films in 2014, and it's a really good year for cinema. This is completely off topic, but I'm just gonna run with it. You know, we're talking about films here.
Interstellar came out that year, didn't it?
Yeah. So we had Interstellar. We had X-Men: Days of Future Past. Guardians of the Galaxy. Nightcrawler. Don't know if anyone of you have seen that. That's a good movie.
I have, yeah.
Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Yeah.
Another great. The first John Wick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. It's a.
Can we have another year like that, please?
It's a solid year. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Never saw that actually.
It's a good movie. Don't know if you've ever seen The Drop with Tom Hardy. Good movie. Gone Girl. Good movie.
I have seen that actually. That is good.
Ex Machina.
I've seen it.
Good movie.
Yeah.
No.
Whiplash. Good movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it.
Just an all round solid year. Imitation Game. Good movie. Just Godzilla, the American Godzilla.
Godzilla.
You know, I enjoyed that movie.
Oh yeah.
Anything
you
Godzilla
had a soundgasm
is
for a while.
overrated.
Edge of Tomorrow. Good movie. Terrible title, but
Or Live, Die, Repeat.
yeah, that's the preferred name. But just a good year for cinema compared to fucking 2020 at least.
Well, I mean, there hasn't been much cinema in a while because of everything.
Thanks, COVID. Killing my industry. Let's move on.
Let's hope you'll be there to revitalize.
Let's move on to Avengers: Age of Ultron, Luke's all-time favorite. Now, tell me, Luke. Why do you love this movie so much?
I love this film because the villain is just so great, and I think the supporting characters are so worth it. They're just so interesting.
So, Dan, what worked for you?
I actually really liked Ultron.
Yes.
I think
Well, poo.
he's a really. I think he was like one of the most interesting villains that the MCU had created at the time.
I just wanted more. You know?
I wanted more of him as well. Yeah, I thought it was. And he had some comedy as well. He wasn't just like this typical villain who, just was evil, and that's.
Yeah.
I mean, he was evil, but he didn't have time for humor. Like this, there was comedy in.
Yeah, this guy
in
had
the
time to
performance,
make
yeah.
a joke.
Yeah.
I just said that I like all the new characters. I like Ultron, I like Vision, I like Wanda, and I did like Quicksilver for the 20 minutes that he was alive. I think this movie
tragic waste.
is a vast improvement visually compared to the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Just this looks like a movie, The first Avengers was a bit, I go back to the grayness, the boringness, like the boring shot types. This movie spiced it up and just hit it in home, and it just looked really good. And nice one, Joss Whedon.
Well, are we doing positives first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got any of them, Luke?
Yes. I liked Hawkeye in this film.
Okay. I was expecting some hatred.
Well, no, Hawkeye is made more human in this film. And I mean, he's a criminally underused character.
And hey, I like the farm.
I like the farm as well.
I didn't like the sudden drop of pace, but that's not.
I did.
Okay.
These are
the personal preference. Then,
I feel like this movie's pretty rapid until that point, and I feel like I just wanted some more from our characters, and I got it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Positives. Come
on, Luke.
You know what? I definitely enjoyed Ultron's character. I think he's great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't enjoy his motivations nearly as much, but I think that as an antagonist to Tony Stark, he's excellent.
Oh yeah, he's he's just the opposite of Tony, pretty much.
Mm. And obviously they gave us Vision, so
yeah,
it's good. Love me some Vision.
I also think that this movie's funny and it works. I think consistently most of the jokes land.
Yeah, I really like the scene where they all have a drink. It's near the start of the film.
Yeah, and they try and lift. Thor's
and you
hammer.
can tell they all have chemistry with each other. Which I really like.
And I love the bit
I
love the bit where Cap's lifting it and it squeaks and lifts a little bit, and you just see Thor's face oh fuck.
I think if we could get a film that was literally just them vibing with each other, just at parties and stuff, it would be excellent.
It'd be interesting to have a series, a series on Disney Plus where they just do small Avengers missions and just have more character development surrounding them. You see, I think that would be interesting. Let's continue with some negatives. Luke, I'm gonna let you open the floodgate here.
I didn't like the whole island situation and the fight scene. I thought that was a bit bland, and I didn't really understand the motivation there. I thought Ultron leaving Natasha on her own was a bit stupid as well. Not a big fan of Hulk just vibing out at the end for no apparent reason. A little bit Deus Ex Machina with the Helicarrier as well. And Quicksilver was good for all the time he had.
Rest in peace.
It wasn't much. R.I. peace. And what else?
Well, Dan,
Scarlet Witch is yeah, all right.
Dan, any?
Yeah. I think this movie is great until the floating island appears and the fight is underwhelming.
Yes.
That's my big issue with this film, and that's why if the fight at the end was good, I would probably say it's better than the first Avengers, but they're a bit samey for me.
Yeah.
Just because of that. It's just all these robots that are flying around are just not interesting.
But then like for me, the Chitauri are the same. That's the same deal. It's just they're just faceless baddies, you know.
But like you've got some that are on the ground. You've got the massive like snake big buckers. I don't know what they're called. And you got the ones on the pods.
Fucking snake.
And
snake?
Also, well, they're not.
They're the
you know what I mean?
It's like a big whale, big whale looking thing.
All right, whale then. And like, you know, a battle in New York is obviously going to be more interesting than some random town in Russia or whatever it is. Do you get what I mean? You know, it's just underwhelming.
Sokovia. Whoa.
Sokovia. There you go.
I like the focus on the civilians, though. You know, I feel like the New York fight was like everyone just evacuated very quickly.
Yeah.
Or died.
Yeah, but in this one they were like, let's fucking save the civilians first, and that's what they did. I like that. You know.
I suppose, but the fight's still not as good.
Yeah. No, the fight isn't very interesting, and I don't like how it plays out.
I put that killing off Quicksilver was not a smart idea.
I thought they were setting up Hawkeye to die, and I was like,
well,
bro,
yeah, they would pull the rug out from under you, but it doesn't really work.
Yeah, and you don't really care that Quicksilver died. Just like, oh.
No.
I don't like that this film retreads lots of the same beats from the first movie, i.e. mind control and Hawkeye and the Hulk, you know, the Hulk sequence. Like, Hulk's angry again. You know, that's like,
was that the film with the Hulkbuster?
Yeah.
That was.
Hulkbuster.
Oh, yes, no, not a fan of that.
Hulkbuster is cool, but, you know.
I mean, yeah, obviously, I love the Hulkbuster suit.
Surely that should just be Tony's like suit for everyday Avengering, you know?
I mean, if it can do all the same things as a standard Avenger suit, and it's also thick as hell, then why not?
And like, if he needs to go inside a building, he can just get out and like be wearing a smaller suit inside the big suit. You see, I'm like, anyway. Killing Ultron seems to be a task that should have been very difficult. How could you guarantee every robot was there?
Yeah, one could have just flown off.
And why would he not have created a backup, just like on something that isn't connected to the internet, just a random hard drive somewhere?
I think he would somewhere have.
I'm sure maybe he has, and we just haven't seen it yet. But you know.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of an oversight on his part, not having a backup, which is a bit dumb.
It's probably because they didn't want to do Thanos just yet. And although I like Ultron, they probably didn't. They probably didn't want to use a villain that was too big. Yeah, and we need another Avengers film to rake in some money.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this movie's fun, but it's. You know, it comes in this weird Marvel place where all the films are just sort of a bit, you know, and I mean it fits perfectly with the movie after this, which is Ant-Man. It's just it's alright.
It's alright, yeah. It's not bad, but I'd still watch it again.
It's alright.
Yeah, I'd happily watch it, but. Yeah, Ant-Man from 2015. What are we thinking? Dan, have you seen this?
I have not seen Ant-Man.
Okay. I was expecting that, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
Luke, you have seen Ant-Man.
yeah, I enjoyed it when it first came out. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I liked the film.
Yes.
I even like the side characters. But on subsequent watch throughs, I don't find it quite as enjoyable.
Yeah, I think this movie has like a few things going for it, and that's like Paul Rudd is just like he doesn't age. It's like weird, and he's a funny man. I think the small scale visuals are good.
Yes,
and I think that this is like a quite different origin story because it's more of like a hero being passed down a generation kind of thing, and that's something we haven't seen.
Yeah,
but
I also think he's kind of more of an everyman than a lot of the other people.
Yeah, I just have a lot of negatives in this movie.
Do you know what I really didn't like was the villain, actually?
Yes.
Even on the first
I said that he's
meh.
boring. And it's the same thing, it's just Ant-Man again. It's just it's someone else that can go small. Like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't much like Evangeline Lilly in this movie. She's better in Lost.
Yeah.
Even though she actually hated doing Lost.
Really?
Yeah. No, she's gone on record saying she regrets doing it. Which is odd, but whatever.
Made her career.
I think this movie's just quite uninteresting outside of the uniqueness of his powers.
Yeah.
And I also think that firing Edgar Wright was a mistake.
Wait, what?
Edgar Wright was directing this movie for a while, and then they fired him.
Oh.
I know. What a terrible, terrible mistake.
Oh, it's never good when you get directorial clash. When something's been going on for a while, and then they change director halfway through, it just doesn't end well most of the time.
Yeah, I can see where Edgar Wright's left his mark on this movie. Still, like the tank on the keychain thing, like that's something Edgar Wright would have definitely put in there.
I mean,
but
my physicist brain.
Yeah,
lack of conservation of mass. Just
the whole conservation of mass thing's you just basically have to ignore it for this movie. For this movie to work.
I know.
But the point is, that's like a fun thing, and it's very Edgar Wright, and just let him make the movie. Just give the director the movie and let them make it, and don't fucking interfere because it never works. And that's the problem with so many superhero movies, is that the studio just can't keep their grubby little hands from like smothering the vision, and I hate it. Anyway,
I wish I could comment, but
this movie's pretty boring, but it's funny, and all the side characters are some of the best parts. Would you agree, Link?
Yes, I think.
I forget what he's called, but his best friend is just a funny guy.
No, it's
and he pretty
like, even if his little like side tangent things that he does, those montages, even if like they wouldn't actually make any sense in real life, I think those sequences are just so great. I let it slide.
Yeah, he completely steals the scene whenever he's in it. So other than that, this movie is pretty boring, and it's just it feels like a very, very filler.
So, yes or no? Should I watch this film?
Yeah.
I would recommend it. It's alright.
Why not? It's good fun.
One day.
Let's move on now. We're moving on to phase 3. Okay, and this is the biggest phase of them all. And we're starting it off strong with Captain America Civil War from 2016. What works? Daniel, I take it you've seen this one.
I have not, unfortunately. I just want to say, this is a point in Marvel when I just became disinterested for a couple of years because I was.
I do.
I just
Yeah.
I only started. I mean, I have seen Spider-Man that came out, but
Yeah.
I can't remember the order of the film. So, but yeah, I haven't seen it. Sorry.
Okay, so Luke.
I know what happens, but I haven't seen it.
What works for you, Luke?
Some of the fight scenes are alright.
Yeah, I think there's some of the best like hero action that you get to see. And
it's quite good.
Yeah.
I think the Spider-Man, actually. Spider-Man, I enjoyed his addition.
Yes, I think the introduction of Black Panther and Spider-Man was handled very well.
I liked Black Panther more in this film than his own film.
Yes, Luke. Yes.
Oh dear. I feel bad for Charlotte, man.
I think Zemo's a good villain. Or Baron Zemo, whatever he was called. I like it that it's just a dude, you know.
I mean, I get that.
His plan, don't get me wrong, makes zero fucking sense. Like very flawed, but as a person and his motives, like his motivations are
cool. I mean, I get that. The plan makes no sense, but yeah, I get that. That's cool. I like Black Panther's arc in the thing as well. I think that's good.
Yes.
I
also think I think
yeah,
making it a Captain America movie was a good idea, even though it's pretty much Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
I think Captain America was the right lens for the movie to be framed in, you know?
I mean, he tends to be the moral compass for the crew, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Cap. So to see him disagree so strongly is interesting.
It's unique. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. Negatives. Can we get onto those, or have you got something else to say?
I just think this movie's fun. It's good fun.
It is fun.
Negatives.
Negatives. I don't know if I agree with how they portrayed Cap's disapproval of the Sokovia Accords.
I don't see an issue with it personally. Like to a degree, I get it, but also I understand why he thinks that like they shouldn't have to wait and decide whether it's an Avengers level threat. I think they should. You know, I get that.
I mean, yeah, I get that. But I mean, like, he's been following orders basically most of the time anyway.
Well, yeah, but not when it's an Avengers thing. When it's just him, yeah, he follows orders, but...
I think I get your point. I think just some of the articles... Well, actually, Tony, although he says he agrees with them, ends up violating them anyway in this film. So, like,
yeah, that's not the point. I think that the comedy in this movie definitely takes away from the seriousness of some of the scenes.
Yes,
like you can't just go from making a joke to try and be serious in the same like 10 seconds. That doesn't work.
Yeah,
especially in this movie where like the stakes are supposed to be so high, but
I mean, were the stakes ever that high?
Well, if it followed the comic arc, which ended with Captain America dying, then yes. But
well, it didn't.
Yeah.
I never felt like anyone was really in danger. I mean, like even when they're fighting, they're kind of making playful quips with each other as they're doing it.
Yeah, you see, that takes away from it still. Like, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but I just
like,
you
and then-
always feel like they're safe, you know?
Yeah, and then it's a bit of a cuck when Rhodey kind of gets hit accidentally by Vision.
Yeah.
It's just I don't feel like that was a deserved. They didn't earn that emotional.
Yeah,
beat. They kind of put that in there because they had
it's not like I don't care about him enough either, you know?
No, and I mean, like, we all know that even if he's paralyzed from the waist down, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he like by the end of the movie, he's got legs, you know? He's just like given new legs and shit. It's okay.
Yeah, and Vision doesn't even seem that cut up about it later on.
Well, he's a robot.
Well, no, he's a person, isn't he?
Kinda.
Mostly.
I feel like this movie should have been Avengers 2.
You'd have gone for this one. See, personally, right?
Imagine
I'd have skipped
if there was
straight to Thanos.
Imagine if there was no Age of Ultron and they just got Avengers Civil War instead.
I feel like Civil War would be better after everything had already happened because you've got more established characters and you've kind of you know your characters, and then if you were to have them disagree over something more fundamental, then you could really
I wouldn't
go a bit further with it.
I wouldn't put it after Endgame
No.
because they've been through so much together. You know?
Yeah, but trying times doesn't always bring people together.
But it usually does.
They're not always, man. That ain't how it works.
It does in movies.
That's true, actually. People would complain if it didn't.
I think this film ends too upbeat.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have ended on a downbeat note. You know, just like, oh well, like the team's fucked, and then just end the movie. Because then you're uncertain about the future of the franchise and all that. I also think that the teams are quite unbalanced.
Yeah.
Because, well, it's a funny thing. Like, what does Vision do during the airport fight? I don't know.
He
because you never
flies around, does a bit of laser action.
You never see him do anything. Surely he could deck all of these characters, right?
Oh, he absolutely could. He could just like drag them into the floor.
Apart from Scarlet Witch. But
yeah, well, I mean, aren't they on the same side? No, they're not. Sorry.
No, you see, that's but yeah, like,
no.
basically they never fight each other, and Vision does nothing. And I just like, okay. Anyway.
Well, he does something.
Well,
paralyzes Rudy.
yeah, that's something. Anyway, this movie was it's good fun. Let's say like, Marvel films are good fun, but they're very flawed. Let's move swiftly on to Doctor Strange. Daniel?
I'm afraid to tell you, I have not seen it. No, but this is this was just the year that I didn't see any Marvel films. And I'm sorry, but like after in 2017.
Yeah, did you see
onwards,
Guardians?
Look, we'll come to that.
That's a no.
But look, this is the only Marvel film. I do know stuff about those Marvel films, but this film I know absolutely nothing about. So
okay.
I'm really sorry.
Luke,
but
shall we just try and breeze past this?
Well, this is my number 6 on my top 10,
okay.
so I'd prefer not to. It was higher, but then Dan mentioned Thor Ragnarok.
So you put this in your top 5 originally?
Yes.
Hit me. Okay.
I mean,
hit me.
Now, special case with me, I don't actually read that many of the Marvel comics, but Doctor Strange was the one that I really had actually put time into. And so I genuinely enjoyed the film because of the adaptation, and I think that the arc of Doctor Strange is a good one. I think his character growth is cool, and I think Dormammu he's not a great kind of believable villain, but I think
He
conceptually
served
is
his
quite
purpose.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way he was beaten is excellent.
But also, time travel sort of. I'll come on to it. You carry on.
Well, I have my opinions on time travel, and I'll get to that as well.
I think the magic looks great, and I think it feels very appropriate to the MCU. You know, I think the world building is good. I think Mads Mikkelsen is good.
Yeah.
I think some of the actions, yes, good fun. And I think that the time travel is handled mostly well.
I think it's handled all right because they don't actually do any time traveling. They simply do time manipulation.
Yeah. And I think it makes for an interesting plot point. But yeah.
And it looks cool too.
It does look cool. Have you got anything else good to say, Luke, before I start ripping into this movie?
Mean. Well, I like the casting of Cumberbatch. You might disagree with that. That's fine. I could understand.
I like the casting, but the
personally
accent is distracting.
I'll give you that. His accent's a bit crap.
Yeah, it's very distracting.
It's alright. Good points. I liked Wu and the other sidekick whose name, unfortunately, I can't remember, although I wish he didn't
fucking
get disenfranchised at the end.
fucking Boots Man.
Yeah, Boots Man. I wish they'd done more of this character, to be honest. Although you never know. Next film.
I think. Well, he's supposed to be the villain in a movie at some point. I
don't think he should be a villain. I don't think there's enough there for him to become a villain, but whatever.
Wow, with that post credits, Luke, he was like, I
know
there's too many magicians, or whatever the fuck he says.
I don't think that makes sense, but whatever. Anyway, I liked a lot of the CG parts of this film, and I think it did some very creative things with, the scene where he's getting kind of, he finds the, what's her name? The Grand Witch Wizard person.
Well, where she thrusts him into the multiverse, fucking weird.
Yeah, she just pushes him through about 12 planes of reality, and then he comes back down and just says, "Teach me."
Looks cool.
I think that is an excellent scene. Now, proceed to
Harvey doesn't think works. What are the rules of the magic, Luke? Can anyone do any spell, or is there a magicka thing? Like, what's the limit?
I think it's supposed to be if you have the aptitude for magic, which I know is vague and unhelpful, but that's just, magic.
This feels a lot like Harry Potter now.
Fantasy does that all the time. Yeah. You're just going to have to get over it.
Well, no, because some have explanations. Like a magicka or a toll, physical toll on the person, but
yes, I think stories that have very well explained and defined magic systems with clear limitations and costs is excellent. There isn't one in this film, but I think it makes up for it through style. Although I do wish there was a little bit more variation in the stuff Strange threw around.
Yeah,
and it's not very well explained most of the time, but I don't think they have time.
Yeah.
I think they need a series if they wanted to properly go into that.
I think Mads Mikkelsen is very underused as an actor. This is a big problem Marvel have with casting good people and just give them nothing to do.
Man could have been Doctor Doom.
That would have been so good. And I think that the time travel in this movie in particular is very overpowered.
Yes, I think the Time Stone has the ability to be just broken.
He literally couldn't die.
Yes.
There's no, as soon as you introduce an element where he can't die anymore, what is the fucking point?
I think that's why they spent so much time going over in Infinity War why he couldn't take it out of the eye.
Yeah.
because
It's the
otherwise
greatest
you've
weapon.
just got a win button. And I'll give you that. I think, all of the Infinity Stones are a bit like that, except maybe the Soul Stone, because it's a bit hand-wavy. But,
Anyway, I think this movie looks very good. I think it's alright. I personally would feel no motivation to sit down and watch it. That's me personally.
I think you could easily miss it out and not lose the overall Marvel story, sadly.
I also get no sense of Doctor Strange becoming Sorcerer Supreme.
No, he still seems a bit like an amateur, I'll be honest.
And then it just cut to Infinity War and he's, Sorcerer Supreme, Anyway.
Yeah, he got the gloves. What else can I say?
Some bullshit. I like the post-credit scene, though.
It was good.
With Thor, right?
Yes, I think that having like a day in the life of Strange is quite cool.
Yes.
That's what I liked about the comics, man. That's what he does.
I'll come on to the cameo in Thor when we get there. But anyway, it's a fun movie. Let's move on to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 from 2017. Daniel, did you watch it?
I have seen most of it.
How do you see most of this film?
That's better than none of it, honestly.
I can talk about it a bit, unlike Doctor Strange.
Where did you watch up to?
I watched the start. It's just the middle part I didn't watch.
Okay.
But I think I have a vague idea.
Daniel,
like?
What did you like?
I really love the opening with Groot.
Yes.
Yeah. With
Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky, and I have listened to the soundtrack of this film, and they're both awesome in this film, and I think that song fitted perfectly with that intro. And whenever I think of that film, I think that
the music
intro
in this one's better.
Yes.
Which is a risque thing to say, but
I think they made more sequences in the second film that actually, I feel like they picked the music first and then made a sequence around it.
Do Edgar Wright. Do what Edgar Wright does. Pick a song and then write the scene.
So,
Daniel, sorry, what else worked for you, Daniel, from what you've seen, your limited viewing?
It's hard to remember because I just really remember liking that first scene. Oh, I like the bits of what's his name?
Is it Finn Man with a mohawk that's made out of metal?
Yondu.
Yeah, I like all the No, he's the villain.
Excuse me, man with a mohawk who's made of metal.
Yondu.
What, you mean the mohawk?
The mohawk is made out of metal.
I thought you meant he was made out of metal. It's like, what the fuck are you on about?
This isn't X-Men.
I like the fact
you mean
that
Ego.
Thinks that he pretends to be Star-Lord's dad, or is he Star-Lord's dad?
He is.
Yes, he is Star-Lord's dad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Ego, the living planet.
Yeah.
Luke, what did you like?
Well, where do I begin?
Well, just with your first point, really.
Well, thanks. Yeah. So it's good. It's well shot. Obviously, the score was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Yondu's character arc is excellent, as is Quill's character arc, Star-Lord. I think he is cool. And Groot, actually. Not Groot, sorry. Rocket. Rocket goes from being like just an asshole all the time to realizing that you don't need to be an asshole all the time.
Yes.
Great revelation there. And yeah, it's got some good ass scenes in it. And Ego's actually a decent villain.
Yeah, I mean that's.
This was your favourite one, wasn't it, Luke?
It is. I could keep going, but I'm not going to because time.
What did I like? I thought the family dynamic was good. I felt like they were a proper little family in this one. You know, basically everyone was like, everyone was Groot's dad, you know, and I like that.
Yeah.
I think that the character development for Yondu and Rocket was very good. And my fifth point is just Baby Groot. So, you know, I think he's a good addition. I'll open up with some negatives because Luke's gone over most of the positives. I think Ego is very, very clearly, obviously a bad guy. You know, there was no mystery in my eyes to whether he was good or bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I just gave off bad guy vibes.
If you know the comics, it's a bit obvious.
No, but it just gave off bad guy vibes the whole time.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Oh, something I didn't talk about that I should have done. Nebula.
Yeah, she's
redeemed.
She's all right
in this film.
Yeah, I think Drax doesn't get much development. Like, he's very funny in this movie, and I like the funniness, but other than that,
I'm hoping they develop him more in number 3 because in neither film does he really get any.
Whenever that film fucking comes out.
We'll find out.
Because Marvel made a wonderful big mistake and fired James Gunn for a while, and now they've got him back. So, I mean, good on James Gunn to be like, fine, I'll go make a movie for DC. Like, that's the ultimate fuck you. Like, oh, you fired me.
Wait, which one did he make though?
He's doing the new Suicide Squad. They're
rebooting it.
Yes, and it's James Gunn
again,
and it looks really fun actually. So, it's a soft reboot. There's a sort of trailer. We can all watch it after this podcast. I think the last battle is a little bit hard to follow. Just at times, a little hard to follow. And I feel like no one's really doing anything, you know?
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair.
And my last two negative points is that I think Sylvester Stallone's character was just like did nothing. And why
functionally a cameo, wasn't
why
he?
Cast him in a role like that and not give him something else to do, like have him come help at the last minute, you know, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I think that characters in this movie make some stupid decisions. And I just don't know why. Anyway, Luke, you got any negatives? I know you love this movie, so feel free to...
Well, other than the lack of development for Drax... Do you know, the one scene that really gets me is when Rocket and Star-Lord are fighting over who gets to control the thing while they're being shot at in a blooming quantum asteroid field.
Yeah, I feel like that's a conflict
that feels a little forced.
Forced for Quill. I feel like for Rocket it makes sense in terms of his arc.
Yeah, I don't feel like they needed to fight there. I just feel like they.
I feel like if Rocket was fighting for control and Quill was more questioning it rather than joining in, it would make more sense. But yeah. Oh, I also one bit that I found really funny was when they like did the jumps, and they did like 47 jumps. Or something, and it started like fucking with their faces and shit. I just found that really amusing in the cinema. So
it was actually quite good. The humor again is on point, but like,
it's a shame they killed off Ego. Honestly, why can't they keep villains alive in this bloody universe? Anyway,
because
Let's.
Fifth.
It's a good movie. I think it's better than the first one, for the most part. Let's move on to Spider-Man Homecoming, 2017. This is the first year that Marvel did 3 movies in the same year. Daniel, have you seen Homecoming?
I have.
Thank fucking God.
I
Whoa.
didn't see it at the cinema,
That's
but
fine.
I have seen it since.
What do you think?
I dislike it for the most part. But this is positive.
I agree, but continue.
I like Tom Holland initially, and I like the school aspects of the film initially.
Okay. I put Tom Holland as a great Spider-Man.
I think he is good.
I like
He's
that.
a very good
I like that he
Spider-Man.
feels like. I like that he's a teenager. You know, I like that he's not like a 30-year-old man like Tobey Maguire. You know,
Well,
like he looks young and it works.
I have more to say on my negatives for this film, so I'll just let people go on with the positives.
I think Vulture's a good villain. And I like that he doesn't die at the end. Yay.
Yeah, I want to see him come back with, Vast from Far Cry 3.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be in that fucking Sony movie. Vampire one. I forget what it's called.
As Vulture.
Yes.
Oh.
So
That's strange.
yeah, what's that movie fucking called? I can't remember. I'm gonna Google it. Sony Vampire Spider-Man Morbius. Is that one with Jared Leto in it?
Oh, well, I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to watch it because
No.
I mean, anyway. I also like in this film that Tony Stark doesn't fuck anything up. You know? In every other film, he's always fucking something up. But in this one, he doesn't, does he?
Well,
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess less so than the other films.
Luke, anything that you like?
It's alright.
Alright then, moving on to the negatives, I suppose. I said that this movie is really dark. And that I can't see what's going on.
Yes.
You need a torch.
I also said that the timeline doesn't add up. Because they say...
Are you talking...
Yeah, because they
Are you
say 8 years later and it's not. That's like the wrong time jump. But anyway.
Yeah.
Also that the stakes aren't very high and I don't really care what's going on. And, well, my fourth point is hashtag not my Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2's better.
I don't know. I didn't have any major issues with Holland. I thought he was an alright Spider-Man.
Oh no, I don't care. You know, yeah, he's good Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 2's better.
Well, Harvey...
What about Spider-Man 3?
Actually, I prefer Spider-Man 3. I am a Tobey Maguire fan. I love him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, but what about the Amazing Spider-Man? Am I right, lads?
Well, we don't talk about them.
Put it in the
But
bin.
although I liked Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland is better.
Yeah.
I like
feel
Tom Holland as a guy.
I thought
just
Andrew
not
Garfield
Tobey.
was too cool. You know,
Yeah,
he's a
he wasn't really
cool-looking-
the kind of high school
I feel like
geek
Tobey
type
Maguire
person,
was
was he?
like, yeah, you know, that's a bitch, you know. Anyway,
If you
It's a little
compare
bit unfair, but
Homecoming
sure.
to those films, I just think it's night and day. It's just
Yeah.
more Spider-Man. This is once you get past, this is a new Spider-Man, he's a bit more he's younger and he's a bit more quirky and he's more like the comics. This film is nothing really.
It's
And
nothing.
It's all right, but like in the grander context of Marvel, it's this. Yeah.
I think the Tobey Maguire films are campy fun, and I love it.
yeah, I would much rather watch Spider-Man 3 than Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'd rather watch any of the Spider-Man originals.
The original Spider-Man.
I just find I have watched this film, but I checked out quite a lot. It's one of those films where I was like, "When's it going to end?" I'll just have a quick look on Instagram, see what's going on, and then
I mean, my biggest flaw with this film in cinema was that it was really dark. Just like, why set the action at night and make it really dark? I just don't get it. And then
I hated the end.
And some of the CG was
Could have been better, I suppose.
just sometimes the suit looked a bit rubbery and
Oh, don't get me started on the suits after the Maguire Spider-Man.
Once they stopped using proper physical models, it can be a bit hit and miss with whether or not they look realistic.
yeah. I mean, sort of jumping forward a bit to fucking Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
The suit looks way better in that one.
Yes.
Like night and day better. Anyway, anything else, guys? Doesn't work?
It's just, I think it's unfair for me to talk about this one because I just love the first, the original Spider-Man so much. So I put a lot of,
Yeah.
I hate this. I don't like this film that much because of it. It just doesn't come close for me.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I think the one thing that I prefer with this one over the others is that he actually has like a sidekick to talk to.
Yeah, I get that.
Which I would have preferred him to have in the other ones. That wasn't, Mary Jane.
Yeah. This movie's it's pretty all right.
I'd never watch it again.
Jeez, Dan.
I mean, I personally wouldn't like to watch it again, but if I had to, if I was doing like a marathon run or something, then I wouldn't skip it. But it's not something.
If you're doing a marathon,
like
you can't skip any of it.
You can.
Well, you can.
You can.
Well, it's not really a marathon then, is it? You can't.
Are you putting Hulk in there? Are you putting Dark World in there?
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
but like it's like saying I'm going to do the London Marathon, but I'm going to start 5 miles ahead of everyone else.
okay, so I'd start with Iron Man. I would want to skip Incredible Hulk. Really bad.
I don't blame you.
But this isn't a movie where I'm like, oh, I just really want to skip it. For me, it's just like, right, let's get out of the way.
You don't strike me as a stickler for the rules, Dan. I feel like you're trying to prove your point here.
Anyway, let's move on to the third and final film from 2017, Thor Ragnarok.
It's pretty good.
Hey,
I love this film. I love it.
that's pretty good.
I am interested to see you change your mind, Dan, because I do genuinely like it, and I would be interested to know why you changed your mind.
Because at the
Okay,
time,
but before we share some love, I'm going to say just what doesn't work very generally, because I think this film is great, but I think the comedy is a bit out of hand sometimes. Just like when the stakes are so high, especially considering it's quite like a stakes for him as a person, I feel like the comedy doesn't always make sense. But other than that, it's pretty good.
I absolutely love this film.
Go on, Dan. Hit me with your transformation.
I think at the time, Luke, I was just very disillusioned with superhero films in general. I just was like, nah, I've seen them all. I don't want to see one ever again. I do
Understandable.
remember. I didn't see it at cinema at the time, but I did see a lot of clips, and they were interesting, and I thought they were funny. And I eventually watched the film, and I was like, "This is one of the best superhero films I've ever seen."
So, what you're trying to say is that you ripped into it all that time ago, having not actually seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a fake fan.
But it was because I didn't like Marvel film, well, just superhero films in general at the time. I just got pretty bored of them. But you know, I was open to this film because I liked it, like what I'd seen of it, and I love the comedy. I think Thor is so good in this film.
Oh yeah.
Like all the Korg. I don't have to say it anymore.
Korg.
I love the vibrancy of it as well. Like all the colours, and
I love Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's back.
Him
and Chris Hemsworth. I love it. It's just gold.
It's a good time.
I like the scene at the end of the big fight, and I like the part where Hulk just jumps into this massive monster, and Thor's like, "Hulk, what are you doing?" or something like that.
Oh,
I'm just like, big monster.
Yeah, it's
like,
brilliant.
no.
And I love the after. I think it's the after credits scene where it just sets up the start of Infinity War.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, with the ship being attacked. No, it's great.
So, yeah, second best.
I can imagine.
Marvel film.
I can imagine watching this movie and Infinity War back to back. The tonal shift might be a bit jarring, but oh well. Just like going from this light-hearted film, and then the opening's like, yeah, all the Asgardians are dead.
It's they ended quite optimistically, and then if you watched long enough, that just instantly dies.
Yeah. I said that Taika Waititi is a gem.
Yes.
And one of the best living directors that there is at the minute, just because he's just a fun guy and he knows how to entertain people.
He's excellent. Can I say that I really enjoyed what they did with Thor's character and Hulk's character, actually?
Yes, you can.
I thought that was a great reimagining of Hulk. Not Hulk. Yes, Hulk and Thor.
Yeah. Can I say that it really looked like Mark Ruffalo as well?
Yes.
Like
it's excellent CG.
Like as a pre-Endgame Hulk, looks great. Obviously, Endgame Hulk's like next level, looks a fucking actually flawless. But anyway,
just like the dialogue between Hulk and Thor.
Yeah. When it was like me and you were just two hotheads. Yes, but Thor is like smoldering fire.
Yeah,
yeah, it's good stuff.
Hulk raging. And again, the Korg lines. I could just watch a Korg compilation from that film.
We need more Korg. There's criminal lack of Korg.
Korg is the voice of Taika Waititi, after all.
I know. And I'm glad he came back.
I like how he has a cameo in his own film. I think that's great. And it's not even a cameo, he's like a supporting role.
Well, he's in most of his own movies. I don't know if you've seen any of his other movies.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit's so good. And then What We Do in the Shadows is really funny.
Haven't seen that one.
I think I've got 2 more issues. I think that the Doctor Strange cameo is just not needed. Thoughts?
I can see.
Well,
if you have to
I feel like they solid. I feel like they needed a way to introduce Doctor Strange to people who might have skipped out on his film before Infinity War.
I return. My headphones pulled out.
I assume you didn't hear my comment.
No.
Your pull-out game is strong. Even your devices Taken your
Yes.
example.
Doctor Strange cameo is forced, and I don't like it. You may
Look at
now
the point.
make a comment.
I'll repeat the comment I made last time. That was I don't think it. Oh, sorry, it was there for an introduction to Doctor Strange for those who didn't watch his film, because he's quite an integral player to Infinity War.
Yes, but just give him something else to do. You get me?
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty well done, in my opinion. I didn't see too much wrong with it.
I feel like it needed just 5 minutes more. It was very rushed.
Yes. The Loki joke was good.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that I wanted more Idris Elba.
Yes.
Because I love him, and like, where was he?
It saddens me to see what happened to that character. Big sad.
Other than that, I just think it's a great movie, you know?
Yeah, I love it. I would happily watch that again. Right
Actually,
now.
I don't know if
pretty
I
good.
like the villain origins.
Yes, actually, my one criticism with that film is the villain's a bit bland and
Also,
not as fleshed out as she could
why would you
be.
keep the mural?
The mural?
Yeah,
For
like they just
cinematic effect,
no,
clearly.
but no, but it's not like they paint over it. They
I know what you
leave the
mean.
original ceiling and build a smaller ceiling underneath it, and then paint new stuff. Like, that's the one way of getting found out, isn't it? Just leave the evidence sort of hiding behind a shitty ceiling. Anyway.
This is true. For all the effort that Odin went through to cover up the past deeds of Asgard.
Yeah, he left like a fucking instruction manual on the fucking ceiling.
He's like, so, we're not warmongers, but also, don't ever scrape at the ceiling in the main hall, please.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's nothing under
there's
there.
nothing there. Don't redesign this building at all, okay? Like, just leave the roof. Yeah, you'll be alright. Anyway, this movie is good. I like it.
It's definitely the best Thor film.
Oh, you fucking hands down, Dan. Come on. Don't be silly.
Irrefutably.
Let's get on with Black Panther 2018.
It could have been better.
I feel like
Should have been better.
this movie should never have been voted nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Like, what the fuck happened? In no way was this a Best Picture. Ever.
No.
No.
I think Chadwick Boseman...
Are we starting with negatives or positives?
Positives. Chadwick Boseman
Positives,
he's a great Black Panther. And it's obviously it's a shame that his reign has ended so soon.
Yes.
And it's a terrible, terrible shame because I feel like there was so much potential, you know?
Especially after the Black Panther we'd gotten before.
Yeah, you know, it's like there could have been so much more done with it. I think Wakanda is great as a place. I just, I'll just bundle the negative in with this. I just think there needed to be more of it. I just needed to see more of it, you know? It was just a big CG city. I just needed to get some close-ups of some things, you know, just see it. I think Michael B. Jordan's character's just like good villain, you know? Proper good villain.
Yes.
I think Killmonger's a great
is great, and it's...
I think I mean, the shame, again, negative point, that he dies at the end. Like, just keep the villains alive. You can just develop them further, you know?
To put a negative point in again, I know it's supposed to be being positive, the final battle between the two Panthers
bad.
is not
CGI.
excellent.
Really bad.
CG should have been better, or they should have not had it in a full CG environment.
Yeah. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar film. What the fuck happened?
Daniel, you're sounding far away.
Am I?
Yes.
Just a little bit.
I shouldn't be.
No, you sound good now.
That's strange. Anyway, like they took, you know, when they were falling down and punching each other.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's Spider-Man 3, or is it 2? Well, it's one of the Spider-Man films. Like it's exactly the same scene, pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just
and it probably looks better in fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah.
the CG is a weird. It's a weird entity because it's like it's got a very prequel feeling to it, like very smooth, very. You know, there's like no dust or scratches or scrapes or texture to anything, and the motion blur is wrong. I know that's a very like nerdy thing to notice, but
you've watched a Corridor Crew video on it.
Well, no, I noticed in the cinema. Because I'm a geek.
You're a nerd, Harvey. You have to admit this.
Yes,
you have become a cinema nerd.
It's a very terrible thing to become a cinema nerd because you can never watch a film without seeing every single error. And that stood out. Obviously, the CG itself stood out, but then like just the rendering quality. Ugh. Yeah. Let's come on, guys. Positives. The cultural representation.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I like the significance of it. And yeah, Chadwick Boseman is a good Black Panther.
And I think the cast as a whole is actually a very, very good cast.
It's a pretty solid cast. I think Wakanda is exceptionally well fleshed out as a place. I think.
Again, I just wanted to see more of it, you know. Yeah.
Again, give me more series. I need more. Disney Plus is a thing now.
I think
lay off the Star Wars for a bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the second Black Panther is still happening, and apparently it's gonna.
Did they say they were still going to use Chadwick Boseman?
Well, they can't, obviously.
I know, but there were talks of him still being included, and
I think his character is obviously I think just passed somehow. I don't know how, but I think that
so they're not going to pull a Tarkin.
No, I think the idea is that it will focus more on the other characters and Wakanda as a place.
Well, that's good, actually.
Which is good.
I'm sad about the lack of Black Panther.
It's good at a terrible expense.
Yes, it shouldn't have happened that way.
I feel like pulling a Tarkin so soon would be actually very disrespectful.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
If at the start of the film they showed a document where Chadwick Boseman like signed it off or whatever, then sure. But yeah. I actually have one other big issue with this movie. Actually, no, I've got two. Memes.
Oh my!
What are those?
Don't put a meme in your movie. It instantly ages a movie. Like that meme was old.
Joke,
that meme was old.
That was old anyway. Yeah.
By the time the film came out, and see, because in my brain I placed Black Panther in 2016 because that's when the meme was a thing. But it's not.
No.
It's 2 years later. It's like, ugh. And also, the biggest issue his magic balls that could do everything.
I don't know.
Shot in the spine, you say? Just put a magic ball in there and he's fine.
That's dumb. They should have had a separate device for that, which I could have understood.
Yes, but no, just a magic ball.
Magic beads.
Stupid.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you know the scene where Killmonger breaks into the FBI place with Black Panther still there while they're interrogating him, and was he breaking at his friend?
Mm-hmm.
The other villain who also dies, I think.
Yes, he was played by Andy Serkis, and I like Andy Serkis.
Yeah. We've seen Black Panther outrunning cars before. Why didn't the man chase him down?
True. I mean, plot, probably, but...
Yeah, I mean, it saddens me. They had such a strong character from Civil War.
Yeah.
And they had a great actor and a great team of the actors and actresses.
Yeah, I feel like the cultural representation and the cultural impact sort of absorbed the movie and was pretty much the sole reason for its success. I know that's probably controversial to say, but...
A little bit.
I would have to agree with that.
I really don't think it's amazing. I really don't.
When I saw it with you, Harvey, it was the first superhero I'd seen, and maybe was it Winter Soldier?
Well, let's just me and Dan came out of this movie and were like bitterly fucking disappointed, and we just had a blast, like taking the piss out of it.
Yeah, you know? I just remember that scene that you were talking about, the what are those scene. We just like looked at each other.
We died, but for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I didn't. It was the reason why I stopped. It like I came back to this film optimistic from superhero films.
I know all of your optimism was just ripped out in 1 second.
It was just a big disappointment. Yeah. I didn't really enjoy any of it, and I'm not taking anything away from the film because it had a big impact. I don't think it shouldn't exist, but for me personally, it was very disappointing, very bland. Nothing
honestly,
new for me.
I agree. I just think like people claiming it to be this amazing movie, it's obviously it's a very difficult thing to talk about, considering I'm not part or even like related to this culture in any way, shape or form. But it's like I feel like people just wanted the clout of saying it's the best film ever, just so that they could feel better about themselves. You know? Like, obviously, people from that culture, fair enough if you love the movie because it's the first time you feel like you've been represented. Good, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with all that. I just think the plot didn't interest me.
Yeah.
In the slightest. And
the CG was bad.
Yeah. Like, all the decisions really in the film I didn't really like. I wasn't a fan of any of it. It's just not for me. So, yeah.
Well, I think the villain was excellent, obviously, and some of the story was pretty good.
I agree. I think some elements were great, and Michael B. Jordan's just like really good, and he got really jacked for that movie. Like I remember that shot where hasn't got his shirt on, and he's like, you see all the scars over his body and shit. But man, he is fucking huge. Like I'll get a picture up and put it in the video. But I'm gonna send you guys a picture.
Well, just so we can appreciate. I remember how huge he was, Harvey. You don't need to send me this.
Oh, I'm putting it in the group chat.
I think
Jesus, look at that man.
Yeah.
Goodness, right.
I think what's also a shame is, like, I think Marvel knew that Chadwick Boseman was ill.
Did they?
Yeah.
I think very select people knew.
Yeah. They knew through. I mean, it was like after
Kevin
Civil War, he
Feige.
knew
Kevin
better.
Feige knew, but I
During
don't think
Black-
I don't think he told anyone else.
No, but during Black Panther, he
Well, yeah, he's
knew
been
he had it.
ill the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, he wasn't ill in. Well, he didn't know he was in Civil War. I think
In Civil War.
could be wrong. Yeah,
I thought
At
he
that
died
point-
4 years after a diagnosis.
I don't know.
maybe.
He
no,
knew
but he
for-
filmed. But
he knew for a
filmed-
long time.
He filmed Civil War before 2016, obviously, so he didn't know then. That's what I'm saying.
Dan, I put in the group chat the picture of Michael B. Jordan
Yeah, I know. I've
looking.
seen it. I've
Look
seen
how
it.
buff he is.
I know.
That's crazy. I feel like he,
Yeah, the actor
I feel
died
like he
4
can rip
years
me in
after
half.
being diagnosed with colon cancer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we've got to remember he also did do Creed, so
true.
he was probably already quite jacked.
Yeah, I mean,
A large boy.
part of me feels bad for ripping into this movie because of what happened to Chadwick.
Yeah. No, I do as well.
yeah.
But clearly,
Hmm.
I feel like what's not good about this movie is not his fault in the slightest.
Yes.
I feel like
he
The one of the main redeeming things is him. So,
yes, he is a compelling lead, and he acts it very well.
Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen a sequel where there was a better story.
yeah.
Which, but that's unfortunate.
Anyway,
It is.
Let's
Fortunately,
move on.
his last work
to
was not that
Avengers: Infinity War. What works and what doesn't? My first
It
point
is-
was that Thanos is awesome.
Yeah.
He's just
Big chin
I feel
man.
like this is his movie, and
Yeah.
he's just the best bad guy, you know.
It does put a smile on my face.
It
He's
does.
just
It really does. Even though the line was just for the trailer, which is strange.
I saw this movie review as well, Harvey. Is that right?
Yes, I saw this movie with so many people. I saw this movie in theaters, I think 4 times.
I think you went with me the second time.
Yeah, I went
Yeah.
with my friend Becky. Then we went with you, Dan. And I think I went with my family, and then probably with someone else. I can't fucking remember. The point is,
don't think he did a viewing with me.
no, I didn't think so.
No.
I think that Thanos is just amazing, like a really amazing villain. The CG for him looks just great the whole time.
Yeah. No, I think
I think
one of the
it
best.
looks
Yeah.
it looks better in Endgame. Don't get me wrong, Endgame CG for the whole film just looked fucking awesome. But yeah,
What I love about this film is that it's like there's not like a slow point to me. It's
pretty rapid.
Yeah, it's rapid, but all of it's compelling.
Yeah,
Like there's no slow. I think with Endgame there are a couple of parts this is why I think it's slightly better. But yeah, I think overall
yeah.
like if you compare it to the first 2 Avengers films, this is just a massive improvement. But it's also because there was this such big build up to it. Which,
Yeah, I mean, this is 10 years of build up to this point.
yeah, these 2 films were events. They weren't just films.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm glad that I was alive for this and, saw these films in the cinema because I feel like it's part of culture and it will be forever.
Oh yeah.
This is the best Avengers film in my
Impact.
opinion. I think Endgame. Okay, this is a better film, but I think Endgame's better Avengers.
I think Endgame's more fan servicey, which it kind of had to be.
Yeah, and I don't hate. I don't hate.
No, I
it
don't
for
hate that. I don't hate that.
I love the fan servicey bits, but I just feel like this film worked as its own thing, and that's more important sometimes.
Yeah.
Any Luke positives?
It's just an excellent film. I think characterization is great. I think the chemistry between a lot of the characters is great. And although, Doctor Strange time travel is interesting.
Yeah.
I think time travel is something you should generally avoid putting in your work because it opens up so many holes. But I think as a whole, the way they lost was very compelling.
Yes. To be fair, I think Endgame does time travel pretty well.
It does it better than a lot of Hollywood.
It doesn't.
Does.
It doesn't.
You can tell they put thought into it.
Yeah, it doesn't in a very balanced way where pretty much you need to like put things back in the right place.
Yes.
Otherwise, things will fuck up. That's good.
I mean, it's all a bit of a question of how time travel actually works, but again, that's a bit of a moot point.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll never know.
Get there. Things that don't make sense in Infinity War. How powerful is Thanos? Now, hear me out.
Very powerful.
If Thanos in the first 10 minutes of this movie can beat up the Hulk alone, then I think when he goes to Titan and is almost subdued by everyone, that should never have happened.
But they were using
I know it was a teamwork
powers.
and shit,
Yeah.
but he should have plowed through them.
Well, he did. He only got one scratch.
No, but like in brute force alone, like
Yeah.
like swap out Thanos with Hulk. Do you feel like that same group of people could have taken out the Hulk?
I mean, that's why they had the Hulkbuster. But
I mean,
and there was more people as well.
yeah, you probably could. I think the way they lost was a bit dumb. I mean, Star-Lord...
Quill just very out of character, I feel like.
And then at the end, it's like, did we lose? Just like as in, oh, it's your fault, Tony Stark, But it was actually like, it was completely Star-Lord's fault that
Oh yeah,
they lost.
Endgame needed to happen, so
Yeah.
you can forgive it slightly.
Yeah.
I feel like I wanted to see more of the Gauntlet's power. Like we saw a lot of it on Titan. But I just like some of the more unique things it can do, He
never seems to use that many at once.
No, which is kind of. I mean, I think he uses like space and time, or is it space and power at the same time a few times?
Yeah.
But, and I feel like Thor became very overpowered in the last 10 minutes.
I worry about the future of that franchise. About Thor, because I hope he can't just...
Because he's very... like, Stormbreaker as a weapon, very fucked. Like, properly fucked. Like,
That's my favourite.
If Thanos can shoot a beam of energy, which is coming from the most powerful gauntlet, the most powerful item in the whole universe, and Stormbreaker can just fucking shoot right past it, what is the point?
But now, hear me out. You should have gone for the head.
Also stupid. Would you not have gone for the fucking head? I would have.
But he didn't.
Like...
He wanted to make Thanos savor the...
I get the should have gone for the head, but like I feel like Thor is very unbalanced, and this brings up a wider question for Endgame, but I'll talk to that when we get there about like balancing issues. But all round, just a solid movie, and some characters actually die, and I just think like good for you, Marvel. Like, just stop pulling your punches. Actually, fucking wallop me in the chest. You know?
Thor's entrance into Wakanda in that film,
Oh,
just top tier,
good stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, I feel like all the entrances of most of the main characters were pretty solid. Apart from Tony, who's just sort of there already. But like when Cap arrives, you're like, oh fuck yeah. But then when Thor arrives, you're just like, oh fuck yeah. You know, it just keeps building.
Yeah, one of my criticisms with Infinity War is a lot of the people make the more human members of the cast seem unnecessary.
That's just you see, it's just a balancing thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Black Widow, I don't really see what she's contributing to the big fights.
You see,
and how she isn't dead.
Part of my brain's like, was she in that movie? Obviously she was. But like,
well, yeah,
part of my brain's just like, I do not remember her being in that movie.
Was Hawkeye in that film?
No. He was doing parole or whatever.
Yes.
Which doesn't make any sense. Because surely, anyway, I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty. Anyway, Avengers: Infinity War, just a good fucking good movie. Very rewatchable.
Yes, and it seemed to manage the impossible of having such a massive
juggling
cast.
all them characters and
not dropping the ball. So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I don't like about this goes for Infinity War and Endgame, and Black Panther. Sorry, is that Shuri? Is that a character name?
Oh,
yes.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I just don't like.
No,
it.
not a fan.
It's just the cockiness that gets me.
Cocky characters in general, they need to be handled very carefully.
Yeah, it's like there's like a good cockiness where it sort of comes off in a comedic way, and there's an actual just thinking you're better than someone else, and it just gets on my nerves. Anyway, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
But now we're going to move on to a movie that's not so good. Of course, I'm referring to Ant-Man and the Wasp from 2019.
It was alright. It could have been better.
Well, Luke, the real question is, Dan, have you seen it?
That's a good question.
No.
Okay.
How surprising.
You can quickly skim over this one.
Yeah. I like the introduction to the quantum realm in more detail.
Yes.
I think the film's fun. Mostly good fun. The villain is weak and kind of boring.
Yeah, the villain is by far the weakest part of that film.
I put mostly funny. And Paul Rudd, you know, he's always good. I put after Infinity War feels very insignificant. Just like a proper filler movie, you know?
Yeah, nothing of major consequence happens. To
be honest, I watched it because I knew it would connect with Infinity War in some way. And it did. So I was like, oh, great. I just sat through fucking hour and 45 minutes just to get this tiny connecting piece. But I will say this film also did serve to foreshadow Endgame with the quantum tunnels and stuff. So, you know, there you go. Anything else, Luke, that you want to add? Or
I mean, the comedy was alright again.
Yeah.
The supporting characters are still fairly strong. I think I don't know. I think some of the conflict is a little bit forced.
Yeah.
And the villain is just comedically, they're a caricature.
Yes. That's
and,
it's kind of poop. Captain Marvel 2019. Daniel?
Everyone said it was terrible, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And I will say that is the last one I've seen the next two, so don't worry.
Luke?
Weirdly enough, when I watched it the first time, I enjoyed it.
Ooh. Were you alright?
I don't know. But upon subsequent watches, I don't know. I don't feel quite as endeared by her character. I think I liked it for the cat.
There's a world of pain.
I am a cat fan, and that's literally the only redeeming feature I can find of this film. It's not. That's a bit hyperbole, but I like the cat. That's it. There we go. Easy.
So I like Jude Law. That's a positive.
Jude Law. Remind me who.
The bad guy. You know, her friend who was like.
Oh yes. Sorry.
Jude.
Yep.
I think the de-aging CGI is extremely impressive. Because they took.
Oh yes.
They took Samuel L. Jackson and made him look like Samuel L. Jackson from the 90s, and it was never taken out of the scene. It was never distracting. It just looked. It's great.
Bizarrely good. Yeah, I'll give you that. I wasn't mad about the scroll twist.
No, I like that the Skrulls introduction subverted the comic expectation. And that's where the good stuff ends. Can I rip into it, my lad?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it. I feel like you've got the most well thought out criticisms.
Carol Danvers or Captain Marvel is very overpowered.
Yes.
And she never once struggles. Ever. And I feel like her hero has no journey. There's nothing to overcome for her character. And she doesn't deserve the powers that she has. There's being indestructible, but still being flawed. And then there's just like having, like, I feel like there's no, like, what is the journey for her character? She doesn't have to learn to control her powers, does she? She just uses them. There's like the whole great power, great responsibility thing that's sort of woven into every other superhero film. It's just none of that.
I feel like, unfortunately, her character in the comics is exceptionally powerful, and then because of how she was going to be used in Infinity War Endgame, they needed somebody who was ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, but in her own film, I feel like that you need your main character to at least struggle a bit.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like she just kind of.
And where's the arc? There is no arc.
The hero's journey.
I think Brie Larson is an annoying human being.
I don't know enough about her to comment on her character.
She is in no way endearing to me. I feel zero compassion. It's the same cockiness that I hate about, like, Shuri or whatever. Like, it's a proper arrogance, like, I'm better than you, you know? And and it's not even played off as a comedic thing like Tony Stark. Yeah, you think he's better than you, but it's amusing, you know. But her character,
yeah, you're right. I feel like her arrogance isn't deserved because, like with Tony, we've seen the man broken down. We've seen him at his lowest and building himself up to be a good person.
He's been on a journey and he's had some low points. Carol Danvers has none of that.
I feel like, unfortunately, it's a side effect of them trying to rush a character through, and then getting people to like them.
Yeah, it was
because they're cool and flashy and powerful.
It was because Wonder Woman was successful, and they were like, "Oh, we need to combat this," meet the female superhero hype. And I understand, obviously it's being represented. Having a female superhero is great. It's just like there's no journey for the character. I don't care what gender the character is, or it's just like there's no progression, Well, she starts off OP. Well, she starts off having no powers, then just gets all her powers, and then doesn't have to learn how to use the powers. She just is overpowered.
Yeah.
Well,
scrolls are cool though.
My other note was this movie makes me feel nothing inside.
That's a little bit. All right.
And I feel like this film has a bit of a streak for just blaming men for like existing.
I don't remember enough about the story to comment on that.
There's just random men throughout the film that are kind of dicks, and it's just like not all men are assholes. Come on.
I don't know. Some of the scroll males are alright if they have a concept of gender.
Yeah. I think today, I don't know. I think they do. Anyway, I just didn't like this movie at all. So.
Wasn't your cup of tea. Didn't tickle your pickle.
Let's move on to Avengers Endgame 2019. 2019, what the fuck? How's it been? It's been 2 years.
Almost.
I think we've been speed running the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Try and get them over as quickly as possible. Because
what works?
has happened.
Daniel, do you wanna?
I also love this film. It was just an event again. You had to see it. I remember the day I did see it. I skipped college.
Yeah.
I emailed my teacher and said I'm feeling ill. I'm going home. Watched the film and then got the same bus home, which I usually got from college, back home. And everyone was like, "Where were you?" I was like, "Just watched Avengers."
Legend.
I got a massive box of popcorn, Coke, and just enjoyed myself because I was invested in most of the characters, and it was nice to see everyone get what I feel was a good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I feel like the sacrificing of Clint was. I could see it coming.
Well, Clint didn't sacrifice himself.
Yes, and that's why the Romanov twist is a big oof. It's a big oof. You see her hit you don't see her hit the floor, but you see the body, and
I feel like I could have seen it coming.
Yeah, I feel like it had to be one of those two characters.
Oh yeah.
And when you saw them go off together, you're like, ah.
Yes.
Oh dear. Although, why they let those two go off on their own to get arguably the most important stone, I don't know. But
it's a big mystery.
I
think the final. I think it's literally the final hour of this movie. It's like fan service, perfect. Like just like the 12-year-old in me like loves the last hour of this movie because it's just like all these characters who I've lived with the franchise for like 12 years of my life personally. It's a big deal, you know. It's half my it's like more than half my lifespan. And
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy.
I cried a couple of times, you know.
It's an exceptional ending to what has been a massive build-up.
Oh yeah,
which was not easy.
I cry at stupid shit though. Like, I cried when Captain America was holding Mjolnir.
Really?
Yeah. Just overwhelmingly emotional, apparently. I was just like, something in me is like, this is pure like cinema gold, you know?
Yes. I am very glad they allowed Cap to pick up Mjolnir.
It's like with Star Wars, let's say, when it's the same as like when Rey catches the lightsaber instead of Ben in Force Awakens. And you get that music, and there's years of like meaning behind that music and the idea. Just something inside me is like, you need to cry now. So
yeah, the only part I got really emotional was obviously Tony's death, but it was more to do with the fact that like 11 years before that film, I'd like as a kid watched Iron Man 1, like absolutely loved it, and it was like, yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't cry when he died. I cried when they had the shot of the arc reactor.
Yeah,
it was like proof that Tony Stark has a heart, and bruh, I was gone. I was crying. I was like, man, there's so much, because there's so much meaning behind that, you know. It's like, damn.
I sincerely hope that they never bring back Iron Man as Tony Stark, except in flashbacks, for the purpose of
the same for Captain America for me. I feel like his ending was just perfect.
I think both their endings were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cap got his last dance, and just that's fulfillment. Like
and if you think about it, with Tony as well, in Iron Man 1, he was this very selfish man, and money, massive house.
In the first Avengers, it was like Cap was like, you'll never be the one to lay down your life, and here we are, and he did.
Oh yeah,
just a good movie, like a proper. If you were going to end the MCU anywhere, it should have been there. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, to begin it all with "I am Iron Man" and to end at least Iron Man with that is just beautiful. And it's a really good film.
It's a good movie. Okay, I'm gonna try and think of things I don't like.
The Girl Squad.
Oh man, so forced. Like,
it was forced, but I don't mind it.
I didn't. It's not the idea of the A-Force, which is what it's called. I put in brackets Lady Avengers for some reason. You see, having them all be in the same place all at once and having there be no other characters there feels very contrived and very forced. But if they did it in a way, so in the original Avengers, so you got that shot where it tracks between all these different locations and shows off each member of the team. Why not just do that, but for the girls?
Yeah, clustering them together is a little bit much. But
I've-
Just like, don't worry, she has help. Like, God, just
I don't like the
ram
fact-
it down my throat. Jesus, man.
Obviously, in the context of the movie, it wouldn't work. But I don't like the fact that oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? Not Scarlet Witch. Oh, what am I? What's her name? Romanov.
Natasha.
Natasha.
Black
That's
Widow.
it. Yeah, Black Widow. That's it. Like, she is the main
Yeah,
female
she is the lady Avenger,
hero.
you know?
and she's not in that shot,
I had never thought of
which
that actually.
which is weird, isn't it?
Which is sad.
Because she was the first, and
yeah.
she's not
Well,
in
she
that
deserved to be there, bro.
shot. Yeah.
Although I mean, I still think she has issues keeping up with any of the powered heroes.
Well, yeah, but
Well-
so does Shuri, and so does.
Oh, that's true. Actually, Shuri probably doesn't have enough experience.
So does fucking
That bald woman.
yeah,
Yeah.
Michonne,
Well,
Michonne
yeah.
for The Walking Dead.
Hmm.
You know, like
I mean,
no powers
yeah.
there. But then again, like,
that's probably a larger issue I'm pointing out, not necessarily
again,
a
like,
Black Widow
Gamora.
issue.
Gamora not really that heavily powered.
Yeah, well,
Gam-
she's super strong and has
Well,
sword. There you
the-
go. That's all you need.
Wasp, like Ant-Man and the Wasp character, like yeah, she can go small, but
Well, that's like the ants'
yeah, but if you're fighting,
whole shtick.
you're fighting a
isn't
Thanos level thing, these people are useless.
it? Yeah, that's true. A lot of the cast ends up taking a back foot because of that. But
Yeah. Anyway, it's a strange thing. I think from Thor coming from Infinity War, almost killing Thanos that easily, to then Thanos taking on not just Thor, but Iron Man and Captain America all at the same time. That doesn't add up in my brain.
No.
well,
If
there's many videos online.
If Thanos without the gauntlet is powerful enough to take on all three of them, why is Thanos with the gauntlet not powerful enough to stop Thor? Doesn't make any sense.
It's, he didn't expect it.
I
And-
put Thanos is weirdly juiced up.
yeah,
it's like-
well, he
it's
has
like
his
he
whole
injected
battle
some
gear on, hasn't
fucking-
he?
Yeah, but he takes half it off. But it's like,
Yeah,
like
and
the
like
only person in Endgame that Thanos saw as a threat, right? Other than Thor, and I think he probably saw Cap as a big threat as well. Was
Mjolnir.
yeah, was Scarlet Witch or Wanda,
True.
and like, well, I mean, she could have killed him.
Yeah.
Like, surely there's nothing to stop her ripping him apart. I don't see her powers aren't. I don't get her powers.
Yeah, I think Scarlet Witch's powers are left intentionally vague so that they can do
Surely she could just like
plot
telekinesis,
things.
snap his neck from afar. Like, it'd be a boring movie, but it makes sense.
Well, I mean, Ant-Man could just do a classic
Up the bum.
teleport between. Well,
Or-
just
or-
take Thomas the Tank Engine,
All the best.
put it in his
memes-
ear canal, and just expand. Easy peasy.
All the best
Um,
memes of Ant-Man, and just yeah.
But, well, yes. The finer points of powers aside, I think, yeah, Thanos did seem like a larger threat somehow in Endgame than he was before.
Sorry, I'll put this in the Discord.
Is this safe for work? Bruh. I didn't need that.
There you go.
Anyway, you know what part of Endgame I did enjoy?
Other than a lot of it.
There's a bit where Captain Marvel's like disarming the gauntlet, And then Thanos takes out the Power Stone and just fucking knocks her out and like sends her flying. I was so satisfied. I was like, yes, thank fuck.
Well, it also shows he's quite intelligent about his use of the stones as well.
And
He's
yeah.
not fixated on the gauntlet.
Well, yeah, he's obviously an efficient man. He needed to escape that situation. And you don't need the stone without, you can have the stone without the gauntlet, so he did. Clever.
Just bonk.
Anyway, this movie's really good. Just like solid all round. Doesn't feel like a 3-hour long movie.
God, it is that long, isn't it?
But it is. And it's just a good time. Let's plow through Spider-Man Far From Home. The final Marvel film to come out before the pandemic. Have we all seen it?
Yeah.
And
Have.
Oh, wow.
Daniel, why don't you sound sure?
Because it's a bit like Guardians 2. I've seen most of it online, here and there.
Of course.
Everywhere I look, I see his face.
Yeah. And what works in this movie? I think Mysterio is good. I just like.
From what I've seen,
I like Jake
from what I've seen,
Gyllenhaal.
I like it. Yeah.
I think part of his plan doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah, don't get me. Yeah, that's yeah.
A lot of it is quite
Yes.
circumstantial.
Well, that's a lot of Marvel plans. Zemo.
It's a lot of comic book plans. It's a lot of plans in general. Actually.
Yeah. I think the action is a lot better than Homecoming, like 10 times better. And it's all in the daytime.
Yeah.
And I can see.
It's light.
I like the monsters in like the water monster.
Yeah, I think
the
like,
CG
when that
is
comes up-
excellent.
I think all the elementals look very good.
That's it. Yeah.
Mm.
I also like that the Daily Bugle makes a return.
Oh yes.
And J.K. Simmons reprises his role. Just made my day, that did.
Yes, he is the only one I will ever accept as J. Jonah Jameson.
I thought, this movie's alright. And then that little scene came on. And I was like, oh, this is a great movie. Perfect.
That alone just makes it better than Homecoming.
Yeah.
Do you know, a little off topic, but
Pictures
not
of
really.
Spider-Man.
Apparently, in the next Spider-Man film, both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield
I have heard
appear.
this, and if it's true, there's a big if, then hallelujah. Hopefully it's like the best
I would be
film
like,
ever.
I'll give you my money, and I'll get my cock out.
And and you can just do whatever you want.
Exactly. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. Oh, I'll get emotional.
Seeing them all on screen, I feel like would be just awesome. But the chance of it happening, it was a rumor,
Well.
I just hope to God it's true.
Yeah. What doesn't work about this movie?
Well, for me, it's just not as good as the original Spider-Man's again.
I think this one's pretty close, honestly. I think this is genuinely a really good, just a really good movie. Just good fun. The comedy's all good, and I don't feel like any of the jokes aren't funny.
I can't connect.
I like
Wi-Fi.
What the
I
fuck?
need to update your connection.
Bruh.
Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Lady. Alexa is a fucking crack. Sorry.
Solid.
Alexa just decided to pipe up. Yeah, shut that shit down. Right. This movie. I don't like that Nick Fury is made out to be comic relief.
Yeah.
Mm.
I also asked the very vague question of where are the rest of the Avengers?
They're all on holiday.
You see, that excuse would have worked like a couple of movies ago, but like in a
You have a good
in a
point.
post Endgame world,
Yeah, no, it
like,
doesn't.
this threat is actually like quite huge looking. You know, it looks like quite a big threat. So, solo films are going to be harder to believe unless they are set in some extravagant place, you know? Because, like, why can't other people come and help, you know? Doesn't make much sense.
I think that's. I mean, obviously, it probably didn't help it money. It helped it money wise, but it didn't help it for me that it was so close to Endgame. It's just like, here's the biggest film in the franchise, and then here's another Spider-Man film.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
in some ways, I'm glad they've had a year break because after that film, I didn't really want to watch anymore anytime soon.
Keep the break going. As far as I'm concerned, like you could take 3 years, 4 years off, because then when you come back to it, it's just going to be fresh and
I'm interested to see where they will go, but that film just felt a little tacked on.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it didn't need to come out same year. I mean, obviously for their money wise.
Well, I mean,
Endgame
was still in the cinema when the first couple trailers for this movie came out. And at the beginning of the trailer, they were like, if you haven't seen Endgame, then don't watch this trailer. Just wait, you know?
Yeah, they could have easily put it up at the next kind of film cycle.
But admittedly, Marvel don't actually control the release schedule. That is all down to Sony. And Sony, they love money.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. So this movie is fun.
It's better than Homecoming.
Oh yeah.
And that's all I can say. Really.
And
it's alright. It's pretty good.
That's it. That's the MCU so far. I think this is like a 4-hour long podcast.
It's probably about 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, 3 hours 28 minutes. But obviously, there's been a couple of bits to cut out and cut around.
Yeah.
Not that much though.
No, not too much, but you know, enough.
Well, I'll talk to you afterwards.
Yeah. That's the MCU. That's the podcast.
Yeah.
I
Congratulations if you sat through the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, don't fuck it out. You know, cheers if you did.
Yeah, given Harvey those watch hours.
If you didn't, I don't blame you.
Indeed.
I think the first 3 podcasts are good franchises to start with, but I think the next one we should I think maybe not do a franchise.
Yeah, we should focus on a movie or 2 or some shit. You know,
maybe like Back to the Future. That'd be enough.
I haven't seen 2 of them. In fact.
Well, then you have to get watching.
I mean, we could talk about we could talk about any of the weird films that we've seen.
Actually,
weird.
That's a good shout. We could talk about 5 weird films that we've seen.
You ever seen The Lighthouse, Luke?
No.
It's
I'm going to have to have a watch list on that for our next one.
Lighthouse, Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man. Oh,
that good movie.
What is Swiss Army Man?
Daniel Radcliffe.
I can't explain it. No, you could. No, he just has to go in and watch it.
Yeah, you just got to watch it. No, don't look at trailer. Just watch it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it's on Amazon.
Right. Let me fucking wrap up the podcast. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 3.5 hour-ish long podcast. It's good fun to make them. And yeah, hopefully we actually talk about a film in depth at some point.
Yes.
Because just glossing over them's, not ideal. So yeah.
No.
Um,
I think, the issue with going over something as big as Marvel is that we can't be too specific.
yeah, I mean, it's fine. We got to go through 23 films in a time that's not 4 hours, ideally. So, yeah. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
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 All right, bye.